Welcome to Directly to You. It's episode 155. I didn't even have to double check, dude. It's episode
Look at that.
155. Look at it.
Is that like
You
a
can support
special
this
number to you
show.
or something?
Huh?
Is that a
What?
special number to you or something that you didn't
No,
have to
I
check just now?
just looked at it
Oh.
beforehand and was like, oh, there it is. That's the
There you go.
number. That's what it is. Anyway, you can support all the 155 episodes and 150 more in the future by going to youtube.com/fanatixfour, twitch.tv/fanatixfour, and giving us $4.99. And if you're on Twitch specifically, you don't even have to use your own $4.99. You can take Jeff Bezos out of his pocket if you have a Twitch Prime account. And how do you have Twitch Prime? If you have Amazon Prime. And it's not even called Twitch Prime anymore. I just lied to your faces. It's Amazon. It's Prime Gaming. That's what it is.
That's right.
It's Prime
Yep.
Gaming. You link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account. And I mean, like, what if you don't have Amazon Prime? Your grandma probably does. And if your grandma doesn't have Amazon Prime, your uncle does. And like, they don't watch Twitch. And if they do, tell them to go to our Twitch. Because, like, what Twitch stream are they watching? You know what I mean? So, you could support us by doing that. You get access to our emotes. We just got a Parker emote. I need to like reconfigure our emotes because Twitch is dumb. So I had to decide. So one of them has to go. One of them has to go. Two of them actually probably have to go to like higher tiers or whatever. But I had to decide which ones.
Interesting.
Because we have 5 slots. We already had 5 emotes, but now we need another. We need to take one of the things and decide which one goes where. Maybe Min. I think Min might have to go to tier 2. But I don't know. It's like I'd rather do the opposite thing that people would want to do, where it's like the most popular emote. It's like, oh yeah, let's put that.
Right.
I'd rather do the least popular emote.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if you want to do that, you get like a bonus, and no emote has to like completely go away. But nobody's like getting walled out of an emote. So
which one gets used the most, would you say? Toxic? Maybe not.
Yeet probably is that probably gets used the most. I think. I mean, in my head, it might have to not be Min Paul, because Min Paul gets used a lot now. So Toxic or Rip, or Rip might have to get yeeted. I don't know, man. I think Yeet. I mean, I think Rip is more like generally applicable in Toxic. So Toxic might have to go.
Yep.
To tier 2. But anyway, you can get that. You get access to our supporters only Discord, and also you don't got to give us any money to join our regular Discord. You could just go to the link in the description, and there you are. You're there, and you can talk to Duncan. You can say yo 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 to your heart's content. Anyway,
maybe even to his heart's content. I don't know. You know. Could be.
I don't know what his heart's content, what his like threshold for yo-yo-yos is, his requirement.
I don't know, but that's up to all of us to collectively find out together at some point.
One day it's just going to be one too many yos. It's going to be a yo that broke the Duncan's back.
And then it'll be a no. Yep.
Exactly.
You know, true. Video games. Yeah, I'm not a lot actually to answer that question, honestly.
Same.
Life has been busy. So yeah, I've been playing, I mean, some more Bravely Default 2, just because it's easy to. But the thing that I enjoy about it, that I've talked about before, is or I think I have, but in case I haven't, is that when you can go to a place in it and be like, hey, set out this ship to go sailing and go get me some stuff. And basically it's like, if the game is idle and your Switch is asleep or whatever, or you're playing or whatever it is, for up to 12 hours, there's like a ship, quote unquote, that's like going out and sailing and trying to find items. And it's like a crew. You just get,
it's like the Pokemon jobs,
free items. Yes, exactly. It's like the Pokemon jobs, just simpler, more I don't know even about streamlined, just like there's less to it than that. But it's like the Pokemon jobs. And I think you get more items. It says if you connect to Nintendo Online, you get more items. But I kind of feel like, I feel like it's if other people that you know are also doing the same thing, then you like quote unquote team up with it. But nobody else on my friends list apparently is doing it at the same time, so it doesn't really matter. So it's just the same amount for me. But in any case, it maxes out at 12 hours. Like once you've done 12 hours, then it won't keep sailing or whatever.
Like, I'm overworked. You shouldn't even have worked me 12 hours.
OSHA regulations, do some stuff. So all that to say, that entices me for sure to log in for like, at least 5 minutes every like 12 hours or something like that to just grab those items to reset it. But there's a couple of times for sure this week that like I'll be like, I'll just open it really quick to grab that and then realize, I'm not quite, like I'm in a dungeon somewhere where like I can't get right back to there. So either I have to like use a escape rope essentially and then work my way back here, or I can just go ahead and finish this dungeon and then go back there and not have to come all the way back here. And then it's like, oh no, there's a boss fight at the end of this dungeon. Guess I'll play this boss fight, even though it's like, I only meant to play literally for 3 minutes at this point. Just open it up, be like, beep, 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 and switch it off. And then I do a 30-minute boss fight. But yeah, it's, I'm still having a good time with it though. But that's, I mean, gaming wise, other than the other thing we'll talk about in a little bit, that's about literally a little bit more It Takes Two with Ashley.
I still need
as well.
I need to hit up Bob and be like, we should play this video.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's a fun time.
But I'm not playing it. I'm just playing Smash.
Yeah.
Mostly because like haven't generally been playing that much games this week, period. And B, still trying to like not relearn the game, but like relearn habits. So it's just like a lot of playing and losing. I haven't really been losing that much. Losing more than usual.
Yeah.
Because I am trying to not do the things that I usually do. And that is hard.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's definitely hard. Yeah, I mean, and probably then there's, I can imagine that kind of thing. I mean, for me, it's probably more like, with playing music or something like that, that I feel that kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm playing drums worse right now, but it's because I'm intentionally trying to do this other thing that's requiring more brain effort or more critical thinking or whatever, instead of just doing the muscle memory kind of stuff that's easy to do, but ends up
because it's like
being worse in the long run.
Ultimately, I'm putting more effort into being better when I'm being lazy. Like it's not like the end goal is not to always play thinking this hard all the time. The end goal is just that my default is smarter than what it usually is. Because usually it's like I'm just going to do this thing because it always works on these specific people. But people that are playing the video game and being like, oh well, he does this a lot, so I'm going to punish that. It's not going to work. So I need to do stuff that's either harder to punish or like intentionally mix up what I'm doing more often, even if I know doing the same thing
more in your repertoire
over again will work. And then it's like spending more time attempting to actively call people out rather than learning how they play over time and just punishing that autopilot. Like not saying like, oh, he jumped here, he jumped, so I'm going to hit him for that. It's like, oh, he usually jumps here, so I'm just going to swing and then they're going to run into it. So it's like spending more time watching the game, being more patient, literally just standing there. Because like that was the thing that Tweak did a lot. Like Tweak would literally just stand there. And when I said like he'd do nothing, he would just stand there and wait for me to do something and then punish what I do after what I did when he was just standing there. So just trying to like apply that stuff.
Man,
it's mostly what I've been doing.
Brains,
game wise.
Yeah.
Oh, also I played Pac Man 99.
Yeah. So that's if that's all that we're playing, pretty much. Let's talk about Pac Man. Hey, short intro bit, but so Pac Man 99 was announced this week, and it's essentially replacing Mario 35, I guess, in terms of just like a slot of game, which is smart, to have something there.
We do.
Yeah, right. We knew it was going to be
almost
something.
Because it was like on March 31st, are we going to get something? We're like, nah, probably not, but like we're going to get something, this is that. So
I did do a poll to see on YouTube whether people think Pac-Man 99 is better or Mario 35 is better. Pac-Man 99 is winning at the moment. So it's like 60-40. And I pulled a comment from my video that talked about this. They asked, what are your is 88 leads said, what are your thoughts on Pac-Man 99? I felt the screen gets too busy, but each game is still a good rush. I personally prefer it to Mario 35 runs and hides.
How dare you? How dare you speak ill of the dead?
What do you think?
I
Have you
don't
played it at
know.
all?
I feel like yeah, I played it a little bit. I feel
Mhm.
like the 99, like the battle royale, like Switch
Mhm.
Online games, and not because like they're like losing their luster or anything like that, but the games that they're picking are like progressively less interesting to me. Where it's like I much rather play Tetris than play the original Super Mario Brothers than play Pac-Man. But
Right.
like I get it, you know, like I'm down. It's not, I
Yeah.
don't hate it. We're not to the point where I hate it. One day they'll release a game and it's like freaking, I don't know, Puyo Puyo 99. I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm not here for this.
Or Ghosts and Goblins 99. Like,
Yes. Yep. So it's like, nah, I still like it, but I
Mhm.
can't see myself playing it as much as I did Tetris, just like I didn't play Mario 35 as much as I played Tetris before that.
Yeah.
So
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the format isn't something that I like that much for myself anyway. But between this and Mario 35, I actually would say that I like this better than Mario 35. I think because like the way that you play Mario 35 ends up being really different from the way that you play Mario, i.e. try to get a fire flower and then like just blitz through things, and like it's like that's not
see, I think like I play all of these games like how you play Pokemon, where it's like it's a multiplayer game, but I don't care.
Yeah,
like
right. Yes.
I'm just doing. I don't even bother with the like changing the like sabotage other people. Like,
Yeah,
doing,
right.
I just play the video game.
Yeah, and so that's I totally agree with that, and I feel like to me the Pac-Man 99 does or makes it easier to just focus on. I don't even care what anybody else is doing. I'm going to set it to like knockout and just leave it there because I'm not paying attention to anybody else, and I'm just playing the game. And it feels more fun than like I've played Pac-Man before, you know, here and there, but I've never had fun playing Pac-Man. And this is so far of the like 4 games I've played. It's not even that many, but I'm having a relatively fun time playing Pac-Man by myself.
That's the main thing about it though, because like I mostly look at these games as just being the games.
Yeah, right.
And I have more fun playing Tetris than these games, because like Mario I think kind of had, and this game like Pac-Man, they feel clunky to control, and that's like the challenging part of them, especially Pac-Man, where it's like I wanted to go up here, but the game told me no because I didn't press it. I didn't press up when it wanted me to press
right
up.
Yeah, that's
so
a thing
it's
for
like
sure.
Rip.
Yeah, I feel like after a couple of games, that part at least I got a little bit better at, because
because you learn the rules of the game.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
this is the when I
you
need
know
to
how
react.
to like exactly. What's the word I'm looking for? Like how to, you know, try to press the button ahead of time or anything like that, because it needs it like a couple milliseconds first or something. But yeah, sorry, I cut you off. You were saying something.
I was just saying that I'm just too used to like playing games that like you react at the time as like close to where you're trying to avoid it as possible, and the game's gonna be like, okay, you know. But in this, it's like you got to be like, all right, I'm approaching this, so I gotta press the other way so I don't keep going forward and running into it. So
I think the other thing I'll say with this one, that it does have a little bit better than Mario 35, is not something that I'll run into barely at all, but late game is is significantly better, because it's just like it's more like Tetris 99 kind of a thing, where like Mario 35 late game, you could be stuck in with you and 2 other people for
forever,
you know. And like it's just you and the other person trying to knock each other out, and it's just not happening. Whereas with this, it's like you're really playing against yourself, and there's obstacles in the way that are making it progressively harder. But like, you know, it's just like with Tetris, it's a puzzle game. I mean, not that this is a puzzle game specifically, but it's just hard to stay alive. So that's something that at that point, especially with Mario 35, late game feels like you're playing against other people rather than just, you know, playing for yourself. But nevertheless, I mean, you know, to each their own also. So who cares? It's not a comparison so much as like, as long as people are having fun with it. But Yeah.
Yeah, I
Pac-Man
mean,
99.
like I thought, like with Tetris 99, I
Mhm.
thought it was going to be like, oh, this is cool for the day, and I'll never
Mhm.
touch it again. But I played it so many, and I kind of want to play it now. Not like now, but like
Uh-huh.
more because of this.
Mhm.
But that's what Mario was. And then when this got announced, I was like, I will play it one time ever and never again. And I still feel like I'll probably never play it
Yeah.
again. Like, there's no real reason for me to want to play this game. I'm
Mhm.
happy people like it because like Pac-Man is a game that people like, and like
Yeah.
it's in that new context and stuff like that. It's just not a
Mhm.
game that I personally like.
Yeah. What's the difference between Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man?
I
Is
don't
there one
know.
besides just
This
aesthetically?
Pac-Man has a bow.
That is so true.
It is true.
I just want to look at a screenshot of the game. I don't know. Let us know in the comments because, like, I feel like it's the same. I'm looking at screenshots of it, and it just looks exactly the same. So, like, I don't know anything. Maybe it just essentially, maybe it was a sequel, and they just with different like maps or something like that, and they didn't want to just call it Pac-Man 2, so they called it Miss Pac-Man. But I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. They're trying to be more inclusive.
Back in the 80s or whenever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say, I'm curious what other games they do the same thing to, but like we talked about that in a video a while ago. So we've already put out some ideas, and they can make it work with a whole lot of different things. But it's just a question of, which ones it is. It is interesting. This is a second, third party thing with this and
Yeah.
Tetris.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to do anything like that with Switch Online games. I wonder what
Mm-hmm.
the agreement is there. And they like
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much like control they have over the game because they did DLC early
Mm-hmm.
for this. Because like Tetris 99, I mean Mario 35 never got it
Right.
because
Yeah. Right. Obviously.
death was imminent.
Yeah.
But like they like frame one said, oh, also DLC.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
all right, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because you can already buy. What is the DLC? Actually, I haven't even looked that up.
I think it's like the same stuff as Tetris, where it's like it's the CPU mode or whatever, and then there's like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We can see. I'm not buying
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
Pac-Man 99.
Okay. There will also be some additional paid content, including classic themes and modes, allowing you to play offline. Over on the official game page, there are 17 individual DLC packs, including the offline mode unlock for $14.99. There's also the
CPU
deluxe pack
battles
for
will add.
$30,
Oh
which
wait,
includes everything.
it's great. Where? Hold on. How do I do this? Oh no, I changed my camera. That's what I do. That's what I do. I forgot how
That's
to do.
what you do, AJ.
There it is. I did it.
There you go.
I don't know why it's flipped. Is it flipped for you?
No, it's normal for me.
Okay, it's flipped for me, which is weird. They have CPU battle, they have
Uh-huh.
score attack, blind time attack. This is not DLC. Nintendo eShop. What to purchase downloadable content? Sure, why not? I'm not buying it though.
You gotta buy it. If you're a real Nintendo fan, you would buy it.
What? Oh no, okay, so this is all of it. I was about to
Yeah.
say what? I was like,
So yeah, there's
that's
$30 for all of it, or it's split up into other chunks and stuff. Chunks and stuff. Um, is it just different looking game boards?
I
In
don't
which
know,
case,
but I don't care about it.
yeah.
It
In
doesn't
which case,
matter to
if that
me.
is the case, like I feel like we're gonna get event themed game boards anyway. Like at
Mhm.
some point we'll
I
get a
mean,
Zelda
maybe
one.
not. Maybe this
Yeah.
means we won't. Oh wait, I went to the wrong camera.
You did.
It's the bad camera.
Ugh,
Here's
gross.
the
There
good
it is.
camera.
What a beautiful camera.
But yeah, this exists, and maybe that DLC in a bad way is like a sign that that won't happen. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe is there like I mean, we gave you theme boards, but we're not doing it for free.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, yeah, could be. I guess it's a question of whether or not they want to partner with like official thing. Cause like I don't think any of those boards are like Zelda themed or whatever. But maybe they keep doing those for actually, oh man, that would be because Tetris themed boards are cool and all. But Pac-Man themed boards could be interesting because the actual like Pac-Man could be different. Like you could have sprites for Link and like
Right.
you
Can
know
see them doing that, but the thing is like even more so what I can imagine them doing, the best case scenario is like if you have the deluxe pack, you get it free. But like all the other ones are like $199 or whatever. Because they already set the precedent. They're like, all right, here are these themed boards or whatever, and they cost money. So it would be weird if they were like, all the rest of them are free, but also buy this DLC though. Like
well, here I want to check real quick. Was that what each of the $199 things were? It was just themed boards.
I gotta go back in there.
Here, I'll take a look too.
I don't know how long it's going to take for it to pop back up.
I'm gonna look it up on the internet. Yep, 100%. That's what it is.
That's what they are. They're all
the individual DLC is just different.
So
a Galaga themed board, a Namco Classics 3 themed board, et cetera, et cetera. Ooh. I mean, that said, all of these are Bandai Namco ones, so maybe this is just Nintendo's partnership with them. Is like Nintendo will give Nintendo ones for free, but like they're trying to, get Bandai Namco some money right out the gate.
We'll see. Maybe, but I think the more likely thing is the Nintendo ones will maybe just be cheaper.
Like, well, here, let's bet.
Be 99 cents.
Let's bet because I'm going for the Nintendo ones are going to be free, and you're not.
Yes.
I don't know what we bet, but something maybe food related.
Let us know in the comments what we should bet.
There you go. We'll bet something. So there's a bet on the table. We'll have decided what it is at a later date.
Also, speaking of bets, but not really bets.
True.
This is more of a milestone goal. If we get 2,000 subscribers, we're going to freaking have a pair taste test. We're going to get every pair that we can get our hands on and rank them.
Yep. Thanks to Chris the Butte on Twitter for setting that up. Where are we at right now? Just as for milestones for everybody to know, so we know where we're starting
like
from.
829.
829.
Something like that.
Exactly. So it's 170 more subscribers, I think we can do it.
It's true. It's not that hard.
No.
Not that hard, really.
But what is hard is knowing what's in Switch Firmware 12.0, even though it should be obvious.
Is it
but
hard?
It's not.
Nothing. That's what's in it.
That's what's in there. So yeah, I mean, there's some like kind of speculative stuff in here.
It's like the Bluetooth thing, like
Bluetooth, and then the other thing that I didn't even see this until I went looking for articles today. Like somehow it just didn't pop up during the week that I noticed it. But also possible evidence of a new Nintendo Switch dock data mined in a system update. So basically, the whole idea that people have had about like, oh, what if you could get a dock that upscales things? Nothing like that had ever been enabled in the firmware, and this is the first time that something like that possibly could be showing up.
And I mean, like, I don't know, like, this is another thing that people are like, that's very un-Nintendo to do, and it's like, is it? They have a patent. Patent. It's suggesting that they thought about it at the very least.
So, you mean like people say the like upscaling dock is an un-Nintendo thing to do?
Yeah.
I mean, interesting. In what regards do you think people say that that's unrealistic?
They say that it's a very un-Nintendo thing to do because Nintendo doesn't do that. Like they're not like, or to them, they're not like technologically minded. They're like, okay, here's the console and this is just the console. But even that is like your like field of view is small because like they had the Super FX chip, like they have done things like and
N64
like
DD
N64 expansion pack, the N64 DD, like they've done it multiple times, in fact. So it's just always weird to me whenever people are like, that's un-Nintendo. And I'm like, the most Nintendo thing to do is to try to do the thing that Nintendo didn't do the last time. Like, that is the most Nintendo thing.
I mean, and if it's coming from an argument from anybody of like the disparity between handheld and docked, I think also that's something where like there already is a disparity between handheld and docked. And so that's not to just make that wider isn't really that big of a deal, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I feel like people that really care about graphical fidelity and stuff probably like I'm very happy to play handhelds, and I also don't care that much. You know, maybe it's narrow field of view or something.
And also,
but like,
I think like the same can be said for the developers, because we already know that there's like handheld only games and stuff like that. Like, what's stopping them from saying, okay, this is a docked only video game,
right?
And
yeah,
you can only play it if you have this new dock or whatever. Like, again, it's going to be something that people are going to be mad at, where it's like, I don't want to buy a new dock, or I can't buy a new dock. So how dare they have this exclusive game? But it's like, this exclusive game for this developer would not have existed if they didn't have this dock. So
the other interesting thing that might back that up, and maybe not, but for a while, for a long while, Nintendo was selling just their regular docks. You could buy them at, Target or whatever. But it's been almost 2 years now since they stopped actively selling those. And then you could only buy them on the Nintendo website, and then you can't even buy them there anymore. Like right now, you can't, like outside of like a couple places, maybe randomly, you can't buy a new separate dock.
Yeah, the dock for almost since it launched, I would say, like, it's probably like the first year where it was like a product, but now it's like a replacement part.
I mean, I remember getting one. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Like, because I remember in maybe early 2019 or late 2018 or something like that, me and Mitch and my friend Nate, who all worked together, we went in together on a dock for our office, and it was on sale for like $50. And that was when people were finding them for like super on sale at that point. And that was because they were just like, getting rid of stock essentially, which to me could easily make sense if they want to like put something out there that's a new dock thing and don't want to have the two living side by side of like stronger dock and weaker dock. Or stronger dock and standard dock. If there's only one out there, like if you go out and you buy a new dock from a store, then it's going to do the thing that you want it to do, and you won't have any of that confusion.
It strengthens the proposition of like, here's this dock, it's $100. Like, remember back in the day when the old one was $80? This one's so much better than that, and it's only $20 more. Like, I could even see them double the price and still have that like as their marketing, where it's like, it's 4 times the resolution but only double the price.
Yeah. I mean, so, and that's something I've heard people talk one way or another. And like, I don't know technology stuff enough to know if the DLSS thing that's been talked about this whole time could be housed just in the dock and it's not actually part of the Switch internals. Like some of those kinds of things. I don't know if that's something that's reasonable or possible or not, but that would, to me, back up the whole, this is a new Switch with an OLED display and stuff, but maybe like the internals of the Switch don't feel like they're that different. And it's because the rest of it is like, it's half and half, like the Switch is being upgraded half the way and then the dock's being upgraded half the way. And then it kind of does that. I don't know.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that was something that I talked about before, and I'm sure other people talked about.
Yeah,
it's like they like the Switch is like how the Switch is, the form factor. They could upgrade it in a TikTok sort of way, not TikTok the platform.
No, TikTok the platform. Yep, they could like update it in a like 50-second long weird video.
Yeah, exactly. But no, the tick would be upgrading the dock, and then the talk would be upgrading the handheld. Yeah. So it's like the Switch is the life cycle is more of a gradient than like hard passes into new colors.
Yeah.
So this could be the start to that. Yeah. Like instead of there being a Switch Pro or whatever, there's a Pro dock, and then the Switch Pro comes out later, or Switch 2, and then the Switch Pro dock. I could see them doing something like that.
The only thing that's funny to me is like, I mean, I don't know firmware things enough, but like, unless this is going live and, unless they're talking about the Switch Pro in the very, very near future or whatever, like, does it, for them to be testing on internal products, do they really need to put that in the live update, if that is the case, like if it's related to
I
future
don't think
hardware,
they
you know what I
need
mean?
to, but I think it just makes it easier depending on like how close it is. Like if this is this holiday or whatever,
Right.
right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's just straight up like near final products in people's
Mm-hmm.
houses. Like you know how
Mm-hmm.
like freaking Phil Spencer like last year was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I just got a Series X sitting on my desk, you know, like that sort of stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if Doug Bowser's like freaking
Mm-hmm.
playing Switch Pro right now.
Yeah, man, he totally is. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, and also there's an element of like bug fixing or whatever, where like if they put this out now, if there's any issues with it, then they can be working on updating 12.0 to be 12.1 or whatever,
Mhm.
so that by the time it happens, that it's already stable and they don't have to,
Right.
you know, make it more stable.
Yeah.
Get some
Yep.
better kickstands in there.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and the Bluetooth earbud thing, like, or Bluetooth audio support, that'd be cool, I guess. You know, there's
Yeah,
been
sure,
definitely
sure.
times where I'm playing on the TV and it's like, man, it would be great if I could have some earbuds in right now, and I don't.
Right.
But besides that, it's like,
I don't even know how, like, the only Bluetooth headphones I have are my AirPods, and I don't know if that would be annoying to even do. So I don't know if I care about this.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if it just wouldn't work or whatever, like
Mhm.
if the AirPods just, I don't know. Let me know if you have AirPods and non-Apple products that you use
Mhm.
your AirPods with. How does it work? Is
I
it?
think it still works, but I wonder, like, I know Ashley has some like Bose Bluetooth headphones, and they like smart switch. Oh, I think, and you said your AirPods sometimes like smart switch between devices,
Yeah,
but
because
sometimes they do it dumb as well.
so the AirPods and like newer Beats headphones, they
Hmm.
have this Apple proprietary chip that
Hmm.
any Apple product that you have, assuming it's new enough, I
Hmm.
guess, like the firmware on it is new enough, it'll recognize it and say like, "Oh, this is your computer. These are your AirPods. Do you want to
Hmm.
connect it?" But I don't know if they are if that's like if that functionality messes with just regular Bluetooth.
Hmm.
I don't know
I
because
don't
I
know.
don't have any I don't have any non-Apple products that I would try to link with my
Yeah.
AirPods. So I
Hmm.
never tested that before. So
Hmm.
we'll see if somebody in the comments uses their AirPods with an iPhone and then they switch it to their Windows computer or something.
Hmm. It's probably a pain. I know it's been a pain for me to switch Bluetooth earbuds between things.
Mhm.
Um, so there you go. And it's, yeah, firmware 12.0. It's weird that we kind of know next to nothing about it officially. But it's not as weird as the No More Heroes footage that we got this week,
Oh my
which,
god.
did you watch this?
No,
Oh,
that's
it
why I'm
was,
like, what?
yeah. It wasn't weird so much as just like, quirky, campy kind of thing. It was, I don't actually know, like I watched the video. I don't know the origin of like how this was first presented, like if it was a stream or something like that. But throughout the video, um, it's there's like fake little ads with a fake skip button and a fake, like it's supposed to look like YouTube, and then an ad came up, but it's ads for other No More Heroes things, and then it
Mhm.
like skips it and stuff as if you were watching a video on YouTube and you press the skip ad button.
Yep,
um
yep, yep.
it's like very self-aware and silly, but yeah, I mean, it looks cool. There wasn't a whole lot to say about this other than like, cool, we got new footage. If people
When did
haven't
that
seen it, you can go
game
look
come
at it.
out in
But
like August or something?
yeah, so it's been a long time coming at this point, but it's funny because they talked about, they did mention Travis Strikes Again, and they showed the Metacritic for it, and that it was like 59 or 67 or something like that, and they were like, and sometimes we even try experimental things, and they, it's the kind of thing
And
that'll
they
be super
don't work.
appreciated in 10 years.
Oh my god.
It's like,
That's optimistic. Eh?
yeah, and
Probably
I think
provided
they
by
know.
Nintendo.
Yeah, true. So
I
yeah,
did
but
not like that game, but people were like, but I feel like that's the case. Okay, so like the more I think about freaking No More Heroes, the more hesitant I am about this because I feel like every No More Heroes thing that currently exists, people are
Mhm.
like, no, 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 but like the No More Heroes 3 is going to be way better than this. So it's like people that like the original games are like now
Yeah.
being like,
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to jump in here. And then Travis Strikes Again, it's not the same thing. So like, how do I know if I'm going to like No More Heroes 3 if all the other games are not a good barometer for what the new game is going to be.
I've
Like-
thought the exact same thing before. Yeah, I don't know. It's entirely possible that No More Heroes 3 comes out and people are, like you said, are like, yeah, it's really quirky though. So like tons of grains of salt about one thing or another.
Yeah, it's like they really love one specific aspect about it, like I don't know, like how quirky it is, where it's like, oh, that's the cool thing, you know, but like everything else about it is like something that needs to be explained away,
right?
or,
Yeah.
you know, or
I mean, it's like,
control.
you know, it's kind of like the whole Mario 64 in 2021
yes,
kind of a thing where
Yup.
it's like, oh, you just need to like, don't worry about this thing. And like, I just have to accept, like Seven mentioned on Twitter that they're playing Mario 64 for the first time ever. And I was like, and mentioned the camera being janky and stuff. And I was like, yep, I would not be offended if you just stopped playing the game and were like, I don't like it one bit. But, you know, it's like, much as I love that game, I also am totally fine with it just being a product of its time, or product of also just what it is, you know? So like similarly with No More Heroes, we'll see.
Yep.
I never played Travis Strikes Again, but from the little bits that I've seen of it, I feel the same way, more or less. I'm like, it just doesn't seem fun, particularly. But what is fun is Nintendo being back at E3.
First of all, F the ESA. I was going to say the word, but I don't have time to edit it.
I mean, I do the audio editing, so, you know.
It's true, and I don't care about YouTube until we have 1,000 subscribers. So fuck the ESA. They can burn in hell for all I care. But like new announcements that we know are coming on a specific day is cool, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I
still,
think.
like,
I mean,
the ESA is garbage. I don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so tricky. Is like, I wonder with this, like, because a lot of the things that people hate about E3 nowadays are related. I mean, it's the ESA, and it's related to the, you know, the stuff in person, the ESA just kind of in general or whatever. But like the Nintendo's involvement in E3 or the different companies' involvements in E3, like those are still great. So this kind of feels like the best of both worlds, where like the ESA feels like they will have as little to do with this one.
Yeah, but I just don't like the fact that they profit off of it.
Yes,
and
right.
What do they do? You know, like it's like literally the only useful part that they contributed is like, and even that was arguable. It's not really a thing right now because it's digital. So like it's not like, oh, you know, like we're getting perfect. No, then like even then there was like no good use for E3, none, because all it is like I would the only thing that I would be like, okay, that would be better is if it was like, oh, they get better rates on, you know, like convention center space, but they don't. It's marked up even. It's like, oh, you want space at E3? All right, we'll give you 80 feet by 80 feet. That'll be $2.5 million. Oh, you want carpet? That'll be another $3 million. Oh, you want air conditioning? $4 million. Like, E3 is garbage, dude.
Yeah.
And
but Nintendo, you know? Yeah. So, but in any case, I think it'll be like, that's the tricky thing is like, even though the organization aspect of it is garbage, like the, you know, getting to set aside a couple of days and be like, this is the time that we're gonna Nintendo it up. Okay, question for you. I asked this at the end of the video, but like, or maybe just more broadly, what do you think that'll look like for Nintendo just organizationally? Like, obviously a Nintendo Direct kind of thing of some sort, that's like the one given, but then the other stuff like tree houses, and maybe that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
like Doug Bowser mentions, like, we're gonna make it fun and engaging, and like you can say that about anything, but I don't know, what does it look like to you?
I think like optimistically the best thing would be like they do their regular E3 thing and then maybe they throw in like a tournament of some sort. They're like, hey, we're not in Evo, but that's because we wanted to do Smash our own online. And then it would be freaking commentators being like, the lag is only for you, not for the people playing the video game.
Oof, rough, but yeah.
But like I could see them doing something like that and like do like, you know, it's Nintendo World Championships online. You know, I could see that.
I mean,
Or maybe,
Smash,
like,
even Splatoon
they'll-
2 at that point still, because Splatoon 3
Yeah.
being in the distance and stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, maybe depending on when Splatoon. Did they say Splatoon 3 comes out 2022? But did they say when?
Nope, just 2022.
So they just said 2022. If it's
Yeah.
like freaking spring 2022,
Yeah.
I could see them doing the world championship thing and being like, for the first time ever, we're having a Splatoon 3 tournament.
Yeah.
You know, I could see them do that. And maybe, like I said optimistically before, but this is the actual optimistically thing. That like they're like, all our freaking games that have bad net code, SpongeBob font, have rollback now. Like, and then like this is the test of it, like Nintendo World Championships online. That would be dope.
Honestly, I mean, that said though, thinking about, well, that just got me thinking about like test fires and that. Actually, a couple people asked about, let me pull a comment from Knitwim asked, is it too early for a Splatoon 3 test fire in June? Hope springs eternal. I think yes is the answer to that.
Yeah.
But that definitely
they usually
makes...
do, or they have done in the past, like test fires like a month or two out. They don't really do like...
I was thinking like 3 months at the most, but I can't remember specifically. But definitely within a pretty short range.
Optimistically, with Splatoon 3 in June, we'll be like 8 months away from Splatoon 3.
Yeah, right.
Probably like 14 months away. So if not more than that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would definitely envision it as a like summertime kind of game, not because of size or anything.
That's usually when Splatoon comes out.
Yeah, right. But
I
Nintendo
think like
doesn't do what Nintendo wants to do. AJ.
Yeah, see, honestly, I think that if size is a factor, it's probably holiday 2022.
Right. Exactly.
If we're being real, the only thing that I think would hinder it from being holiday would be if they have something else bigger for holiday 2022. But like what we know from 2020 to 22 is insane. Yeah, because we have spring 2022 probably accounted for. We have summer again, if they maintain their trend, 2022 being Splatoon 3, that's accounted for. And then holiday, like what if that's like Metroid, or if we don't get Breath of the Wild 2 this year, then
it's next year for sure. Yeah, so like that's and somebody pointed out too in one of the comments on the video that they had that whole like way at the beginning of 2019 they had the SOS 2022 Splatoon 2 their Splatoon tease thing. So it definitely makes me wonder if they were planning on announcing it originally back in 2020, like September Direct-ish kind of time. They were planning on announcing Splatoon 3 then, and then it was going to come out more like holiday of 2021 or something along those lines. In which case, if it got pushed out, like, they announced it in spring, then it would be spring or something, which is like phenomenal. That would be awesome.
2022 would be insane.
Yeah. I mean, and I already think, 2021 already is like...
I think 2021 is going to be insane.
Yeah. So the thing I was thinking though is like, I wonder if fun and engaging ideally means that because there's no demos, locally,
if everybody gets to play some sort of
everybody gets to play some demos, probably fewer of them or something, like it's more limited in some ways, but it's broader because more people get to do it. That would be super cool. I mean, because definitely like the behind closed doors things that they do in past years, which is, media people get to go behind closed doors, get to play some games or do a demo or whatever.
That's one plus to this. That would probably be easier to get.
Oh, that's for
us specifically, not for everybody, but for us, it might be easier to get.
I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, that would be a first for me. That would be awesome. But yeah, like, so that kind of thing. Usually, I think these days it's less being like with media stuff. It's less like hands-on demos from afar, but they'll do like hands-off demo kind of thing. I know like IGN had that with new Pokemon Snap, where like you get to watch other people play some footage and then preview it and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like a lot of how other companies are doing like on-hands demos in like the world we live in now, as they're doing like Parsec, and Parsec does not seem like something Nintendo's down for.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Like I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah,
but like,
but definitely hands-off demos.
Yeah, hands-off
easily.
demos are pretty easy, and they've been doing them and like Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll do, because usually they do like the Best Buy thing. Maybe they just straight up say it's on the eShop now. But
Yeah.
like,
Right.
even with that, I don't know how, like, what games will get that people are like super excited for, because like you'd figure that they would only want to like games, like they would only want to offer games that are like close to being done.
Right.
Because like
Because
that's
at
just not a
E3, it's
good
easy
look.
to be
Like,
able to tell somebody in person, like, by the way, this is still like forever off, and there's
yeah,
these
and
bugs, blah blah blah.
it's just
And
more likely that the people playing at E3 traditionally understand that already.
yeah, and also that people are like only giving them 10 minutes to play a game, so you can't like people played Breath of the Wild 10-minute long demos back at E3 2016 or at E3 2016, to where they could only get so far on the Great Plateau. So it's like they could test out further things, but like even if
you have
if you have it in your hand,
like most times with Nintendo, you played Animal Crossing. Yeah, you played Animal Crossing during the. Yeah, so how they're like, let's go here and let's do this, and like like it's not really, you don't get to do whatever you want, right?
Well, here's the thought. I mean, people have talked about this before, but what if the solution is, it's cloud-based? Like, I mean, I guess that's kind of what Parsec is. But
well, yes and no, but yeah.
But yeah, like what if, it's more like Control or Hitman or whatever, like, and it's just because then that's the problem with demos too, is people can data mine it super easily. And that kind of ruins, a lot of the mystery and intrigue. But yeah, also it's June 12th through 15th. Nintendo historically is like towards the end of the shows, but then they have the Treehouse stuff for several days after. But like
they usually do, so their show is at the literal start of E3. Like they do their presentation or live stream or whatever the day the show floor opens. Xbox and PlayStation and EA and like all those people, or Activision or whatever, they usually do their shows before E3 starts. And then the show floor opens the day on Tuesday. It's usually that Tuesday or whatever, and then everybody gets to go and do the thing.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't be that different from them, like what they usually do. So like that, that probably means if it's probably going to be like Treehouse stuff. And
man, I'm excited. Even if there's, so I mean, I mentioned this on Twitter, but I'll probably be on parental leave at that point, just depending on when the adoption stuff happens, in which case that would be great. And if not, I'm so sorry my job, but I'm taking time off. Like I the most I've ever done was taking a day off for the presentation itself, but like I don't know, especially after last year, like I'm just gonna take some time off to regardless to be able to enjoy that, because that's fun. I mean, there's a lot of different things I could talk about.
Assume you'll enjoy any of it. Bold of you to assume we won't be freaking Game Explain for those 3 days.
Yeah, right. Oh man, yeah, I don't envy them that.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Literally, the only time, like how I usually approach E3 is like the schedule usually goes out the window, and I just talk about whatever is interesting. Like, and I try, if there's enough stuff where I'm like, I like these 3 games, I try to do one video per day. Whenever it's done, it's done, and then it goes up. But we'll see how we do it this year.
So one of the other things also, so Nintendo obviously, but also apart from Nintendo and Xbox, some other publishers in attendance at this year's all digital E3 will include Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Brothers, and Koch Media. Are there any of those that you're, I don't know, surprised by or excited about or anything?
Surprised by? No. Excited for Xbox, because Xbox is like, they're easily the most exciting gaming company right now. Like for free, like no competition. Because like they might come to E3 and be like, guess what, guys? We bought Nintendo. People be like, oh shoot. Like, that's not gonna happen. But like them dropping a huge announcement like that wouldn't like shock me at this point. Like after they bought Bethesda, I was like, all right, well,
all bets are off.
Okay, that's the game we're playing now. So like,
Yeah, I mean, and they've mentioned too that they have more games slated for 2021 that we don't know about, which is fun because like
and I think
we assume that
I know it's rumored, but I think they even straight up said there's more like acquisitions that they're going to
Oh,
announce.
really? Oh,
Yeah, so like
interesting.
I think the rumor is that there's like 2 other ones, and like at least one of them is like Bethesda level.
Wow, yeah. So I mean, that's okay. Here's the thing too, is like comparing that to the news this week or today's of Sony's, which is that Sony's like shutting down all sorts of studios, and like, I mean, they've been shutting down studios slowly over a while, but like
they've been doing it for
that's just like they seem to only care about select blockbuster hits
they
and that kind of thing.
Nintendo so bad, dude.
Well,
they really want to be Nintendo.
In what regard? How would you say that?
In the sense that like they want their IP to matter. Like they want their IP to lead everything. Like before, like in the PlayStation 3 era and prior to that, they just like their brand was like, they tried to be like we zig where they zag sort of thing, but in a different way. Where it's like Nintendo's like, we're all about legacy and we're all about like maintaining our IPs, like relevance and all that stuff. Sony's like, forget all of that, new ideas. We let our developers do whatever they whimsy whenever they want. And now they're like, but like this generation, we got a couple 10 million sellers and even a 20 millioner. You know, what if we can like do that again? You know, so like.
Well, and it's just funny because like, sure, I'm all down for them pursuing that, but shutting down smaller projects, like that's something I think it's awesome that Xbox has. Like I tried out Grounded for a little bit, and it's not really my bag, but like it's so cool. And like just a lot of smaller Xbox projects, and like Nintendo has plenty of smaller things too, where like even their smaller indies or something that like Snipper Clips or that aren't developed by them but are published by them, those kinds of things like are still, they've got kind of the Nintendo seal of approval. And there's smaller Nintendo published things as well. Like there's a good spectrum there, which again, they can rely on because they have the brand recognition of the bigger things already. But like Sony just shutting down all the smaller ones is like, man, that's disappointing. Whereas, again, Xbox
to me,
is
it just
exciting
feels
for that
like
reason.
It just feels like that's dependent on the company they're trying to emulate. Like I think that Xbox very much so wants to have that Netflix model where they're like, we're going big, we're buying everything so that we get the user base. Nintendo wants to be Apple. So like that's like a middle ground between where they have been historically, where it's like we want the legacy, we want people to care about us as a brand, we want that like cool factor of like, if you're not playing Nintendo, what are you doing? And PlayStation wants to like that old Nintendo mindset of like, we're Nintendo, dude, we got Mario. Like, what are you gonna do, not play Mario? I think that's what they want. They're like, you're not gonna play The Last of Us 3. Like,
man, I still can't get over I know Pete was defending it, maybe not super hard or anything, but Pete was defending it on Twitter. But the Last of Us remake thing, it's just like, that seems,
which blows my mind. It blows my mind because people get mad at Nintendo for remastering and remaking games and stuff like that are 20 years old. But Sony's like, we'll remake this game, and they do the exact same thing, but in a way that like makes you think that it's not scummy, like with Demon Souls or whatever, right? It's like, all right, here's this freaking like 10-year-old game or whatever, it's $70, but we remade it. You really think that costs them that much money that it justifies a full $70 release? Because if you do, you're crazy.
I mean, and the thing I will say, I'll backstep a little bit on specifically what Pete was saying, because I'm remembering now he was talking about accessibility, which like that is a big deal. But the other thing is like, I don't know, for like going back in time to re-release old games with accessibility, like it feels like that's a side, like, and also we're making it more accessible as opposed to like, I don't know.
They couldn't make the remaster more accessible. Like, it's not like this game isn't something that they're like, oh man, we lost all the source files, we can't tinker anything now. They're doing it to make more money. Right. That's why they're doing it. And like,
Mhm.
I've talked about it before. Like, I'm not against remakes and remasters and stuff like that. But like, the thing that irritates me is that there's going to be so many people that, because it's Sony and
Mhm.
because they do it in this like secret way that makes you feel all nice and fuzzy about it,
Uh-huh.
they're going to be like, nah, that's not as scummy. But like when Nintendo does it, like,
I think the thing that bugs me about it is legitimately just the fact that they're shutting down other studios kind of in favor of doing this. It sounds like
yeah,
as opposed to, which is like, again, yeah, Nintendo, like you can feel as good or bad as you want about Nintendo remakes, but at least in my mind, Skyward
Nintendo
Sword
holds on to their studios
remake
for
is
dear
like,
life.
yeah, like the Skyward Sword remake isn't in lieu of anything else. Like
yeah.
maybe to a small degree, but not really. You know, like it's not
Yeah,
hurting
it's
the rest
like
of their
it's in
development.
lieu of something else in the way that people think about Smash Brothers roster, right? Where it's like
Hmm.
that
Right?
slot
Yeah.
in another universe was the character that I wanted, but
Uh-huh.
not in the literal sense where they're in a board meeting and they're like, we were gonna put Isaac
Uh-huh.
from Golden Sun in Smash Brothers Ultimate,
They
but
were.
Pyra, like
Yeah. Right.
that's not how it works. I guarantee you that that's not how it works.
Uh-huh.
Um, and
So
that's
yeah.
I think that like with Nintendo, it's like, oh yeah, like people really want this game, and like
Hmm.
you can track people want this game. Like you specifically listening to this, that's like, but I didn't want Skyward Sword. You might not want it, and that's
Hmm.
valid. But there have been thousands at least, because
Yeah.
I've seen it, like just within our
Yeah.
comment section,
Yeah.
I've seen so many people being like, yo, Skyward Sword remake, remaster, whatever would be dope, once they
Hmm.
started talking about the fact that they used the older 3D
Hmm.
Zelda games to test the engine for
Hmm.
the Wild. So like they're just giving people what they want to the
Yeah.
degree that they decide to, right?
Hmm.
um
I mean,
which
and also the fact that like it's a game that's not playable on modern hardware. Whereas
yeah,
again, if we're taking Last of Us, it has a PS4 version that you can just put into
you
your
could play
PS5,
on your
right?
PlayStation. Yep,
Pretty
exactly.
sure.
Yep.
So like, I mean, but again,
Matter of
accessibility,
fact, you can
that's
play
the only benefit.
if you have PlayStation Plus right
Yeah,
now
that's
and
true.
you have a PlayStation
You can play
5,
for
you can play
free.
The Last of Us Remastered for free. And I think that this is like a half
Yeah.
step version of that, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
they're like, hey man, we got PlayStation Plus collection. We're doing the Game Pass thing,
Mhm.
guys. But then at the same time, they're like, but what about the better version of this video game? $70. Hit me up. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, man,
it's so scummy.
that
Like
feels bad. Yeah, but still, you know,
mhm.
Xbox, it'll be
Like
cool.
imagine how mad people
Hmm.
will be if like the announcement for Mario 35
Hmm.
was like, oh yeah, remember how we're taking All Stars off the eShop? Now we're actually remaking Mario 64,
Hmm.
and that is $60.
Yep.
People would be pissed.
Yep.
But because Sony's doing it, it's like,
Hmm.
yeah. Mhm.
I was gonna say the ones. Okay, so Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take Two, Warner Brothers, Koch Media. I know next to nothing about Koch Media. I think, yeah, I just know next to nothing about them.
They like own people
Yeah, I feel like
that,
THQ maybe media games. Just gonna look it
and
up.
I think they do own THQ.
Okay, Metro Exodus, Dead by Daylight, Saints Row,
Yeah,
Outward. I don't even know what
that's
Outward
THQ
is,
stuff.
but that was. Oh, they did Windbound. I don't. I feel like that game turned out not as good. They did Maneater. Okay, huh? Okay, yeah. So they just have kind of a bunch of games. Neat. Well, I'll be interested to see if that. The nice thing there is it doesn't seem like it's all pigeonholed. Whereas, like, Bethesda's press conference was cool and all, but it's like it's different shades of the
It's
same color.
for okay. So Coke Media is Deep Silver,
Mm-hmm.
Flying Wild Hog, whatever that is, Fish
I don't know.
Labs.
Warhorse Studios,
Mhm.
Warhorse. Sorry,
But all
there's
I
a
know
movie
is yeah,
called
they have like a lot of THQ stuff.
uh huh. There's a movie called Warhorse that came out in like 2012 or something, and I don't know why, but a roommate of mine in college, every time he saw the poster, and then just randomly for the rest of the time that we lived together, he would go Warhorse, and that's just stuck in my head every once in a while now. So there you go, everybody, Warhorse for you.
What the heck? I'm confused now.
Uh huh.
So apparently THQ Nordic
Mm-hmm.
acquired Coke Media.
Oh,
not the
okay.
other way around.
Okay. Yeah, THQ Nordic was acquiring a lot of stuff, but
Yeah, and it's like, where did they come from? Like, who are they?
yep. I mean, they've been doing stuff for forever, but I think it's just like it's kind of been smaller stuff for a while. So like, yeah, where'd they get the capital for that? I don't know.
Wait, but who are you talking about? THQ? Because THQ folded, and then some company came out of nowhere and bought
Yeah,
the
that's
IP
right.
and
I think it
the
was just
different
called
rights and
Nordic,
stuff like that.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and I'm like,
Oh.
who are they?
Wow.
Like, where did these people come from?
Man, that's man, these like mergers and stuff like it, I feel like it in general hasn't happened in a long time. Like that era was dead, and then Xbox plus Bethesda and THQ Nordic, like the especially within the THQ Nordic realm,
Like
it's happening a lot.
that sort of stuff happens. I think still as commonly as it used to, where it's like
Really?
acquisitions. Yeah, because
Mhm.
like Sony recently bought
Yeah.
Insomniac and like
That's
that sort of thing, right? But like merger specifically,
right.
yeah, like that's pretty
That was
rare.
like the Square
Especially when it's
Enix
like,
days and Bandai
mhm,
Namco and
yeah,
stuff. Like that was kind of that was a time, and then it seems like it had stopped until now.
yeah, like people aren't forming alliances; they're just going to buy you.
Yeah, right. Like the THQ Nordic Coke. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm, mhm,
Man.
mhm.
The one that surprises me a little bit is I'm interested to see what Konami brings in. I know there's been rumors of like Silent Hill. Um,
Yo, put Phantom Pain on
you know.
Switch, dude.
Isn't what's it called? The Ninja Gaiden. That's Konami, right?
I don't know.
Ninja. I'm mostly thinking the Ninja Gaiden Black games because those are coming to Switch
Yeah.
in the near future. It's Team Ninja. No, it's
No,
published
yeah.
by Tecmo and Square Enix Europe. So Koei Tecmo.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever,
There
you
it
know.
is.
So I don't know. Yeah, what else Konami's
Can't
gonna
wait for
have there?
Banjo-Kazooie to get announced at E3,
It'll be a fun time. We'll be talking more about E3 in the future. But in the meantime, I made a video.
Also,
Yeah.
ESA, still garbage.
Yeah.
Still garbage.
So, yeah. I mean, I am hoping that out of this comes a better version of E3 to begin with. And like, I don't know. I'm curious who all will
I
or
just
won't.
want the other food to drop. I want I want everybody to pull out and be like, we're just going to do our own thing. Because, like, I don't know. I think that whole thing of like, it's a week of camaraderie within the gaming industry. It's like, it's overrated. Like, just give me the announcements when you're going to give me the announcements. I don't need everything all at once.
I agree, and then I don't at the same time. I think the camaraderie element of it, like it's fun and all, but also it's kind of nothing. But I personally am in favor of the week of announcements kind of thing. Partly
I'm
because
down for the week of announcements,
Mhm.
but I don't think you need this like co-branded thing.
Right. Yes.
Like literally Nintendo could do that by themselves and it could just be that. And so could Xbox and so could PlayStation. It doesn't have to be this like pissing contest of everybody being like, who won?
Yes, right,
you know,
exactly.
like,
yeah. The meta isn't a whole lot of fun. I think for me, what's like comparing it especially to Summer Games Fest last year, where it was like Summer Games Fest, there's going to be announcements, whenever. It felt like a slow trickle of a lot of little things, which then a lot of the individual things felt like they weren't particularly worth it, because like if you have that who won E3, and sometimes one of those showings was like, oh wow, Bethesda's really sucked this year, and it was like I was waiting 3 weeks for just Bethesda's, and then it was bad, or it's kind of like go ahead and get the good and bad stuff out all at once. It's out there. And then there's not the kind of like mild anxiety of like, but what's the next thing every week?
Yeah,
it's just kind of all at once.
I just feel like that whole mentality is a big reason why, again, to bring up Sony, I don't like their E3, because like they go out of their way to win E3 so much so that they're like, here's these games that aren't coming out for 6 years, and then they re-announce it over and over and over again. And as long as they have one more game that's pushed down the pike 4 more years, they're like, they still won, because Spider-Man came back for the 4th time, but also they showed us Horizon Zero Dawn, like whatever, that whole situation is just like, it's so tiring to see like the internet, and other companies are guilty of it too. Like Nintendo has done it, but usually when Nintendo does it, it's like damage control.
Right.
Usually Nintendo's like, here's all these announcements that we believe in, and they're coming out max 10 months from now.
Right.
Also, because we're going to announce a Metroid thing, we know how you guys get. Here's Metroid Prime 4. But they're not like, we want to win E3. Here's this Spider-Man game that we just greenlit in the board meeting yesterday. Like,
well, it's funny because, like, especially thinking about PS5, Xbox Series side by side, is that, like, I think all the conversations after we found out stuff about after the games presentations for Xbox Series and PS5, a lot of people were saying like PS5 easily won that. Like, they're, you know, all these games, all that kind of stuff, which, you know, is great, especially if those are the games you prefer. Cool. Awesome.
Right.
But as far as like just practically speaking, Xbox definitely has had less. Right, like, exactly. Like,
where are these games?
It feels pretty similar across the board, other than Demon Souls, Astro's Playroom, which, you know, awesome, and did the Little Big Planet 3 platformer come out?
That came out on PlayStation 4 too. But
okay. And Miles Morales, also a PS4 game. You know, like, so generally 2021's felt the same for those platforms.
Like, all of their games, every one of them, but Astro's Playroom, are on another platform. You know, like Demon Souls is remastered or remade or whatever, but it's Demon Souls.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. It's just weird.
And I'm not even saying one is like, I'm not saying that Xbox has been having so much of a better time. I'm just saying, as far as it seems like it feels generally like it's not worth comparing them, just worth enjoying what you're going to enjoy. And that's the silly part.
It's gesturing with PlayStation. It's like I was talking to my brother yesterday because before, like last week even, it just actually came to a head yesterday, where my brother was like, I have a chance to get an Xbox Series X, but I want to get a PlayStation, so I'm not going to buy it. And I was like, I will give you half of the money right now to buy the Xbox, because it's like buying the PlayStation is buying it for the promise right now. And like, especially since he's talking about dropping $700 to buy this PlayStation now for it to sit and collect dust effectively, especially for him who doesn't really like play all of their exclusives and stuff like that.
Right.
And even with that exclusive thing, there are none. Like the first like exclusive that is like an exclusive doesn't come out for another 2 months from that, 3 months or two now, because we are in April. Jesus, this month. I mean this year. Another 2 months from now. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, no, E3, stupid. And I hate it, and I want it to be done. And I just want companies to realize that the internet is the reason why these announcements blow up, and not because of this like nebulous brand of E3. Yeah. And it's like, you can literally have an E3 whenever you want to. Like, just bring announcements that are interesting, exciting, what have you, and present them. Like, Nintendo Directs have proven this time and time again. It's like, literally just say, okay, what are the most exciting announcements that we have right now? All right, let's compile all of these advertisements into a cute little video package, and we will dominate the news cycle. They don't need E3 to do that.
Here's the question that I've got. Besides E3, what is the ESA? Like, what are they? Because I think
they also do like ESRB stuff.
Okay. So that's what I was going to say, is like, it would be, you know, say we're Nintendo, Konami, whatever, all them. It could be pretty easy to just talk to each other and be like, guys, let's just forget about the ESA and let's just have announce, you know, pretty much organize together and do our like group presentations and do that kind of thing.
I don't know if they could really do that though, because it's like, I think the ESA was like created as like a lobbying thing. Like,
so that's what I was gonna say, is like, it technically speaking, just like organizationally, would be super easy to do that. In terms of like the thing you were about to say, which we'll touch more on that, but the other bit I was gonna say was just like, what do they owe the ESA, which is like maybe kind of more than we take, you know, maybe we take for granted how much they quote unquote owe them in terms of like ESRB or lobbying or any of that kind of stuff. Like, maybe it would end up hurting them all to rebel against the ESA in some way.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think?
Nah, I think it needs to go. At the very least, they need to stop doing trade shows because, like,
Yeah. Here's a very aside. I'm eating a Kind bar right now of dark chocolate chunk, and
nice.
These always taste just a little bit like banana to me, but they have nothing that has anything to do with banana in them. I truly don't understand like where that comes from, but it's just I don't know.
Maybe that's like how when pregnant women have cravings and it's like with their baby needs sort of thing. Maybe your body is like, all right, you're eating this chocolate, but you need a banana. Like,
so we're just gonna pretend.
Yeah. No, it's just hoping that like you tasting bananas, like, man.
Oh, I'll just, or I mean, at this point, I just feel like I did it. That was it. I had a banana. Tricked you.
Check them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's oats, cane sugar, semi-sweet chocolate, other stuff, whatever. Tastes like banana. E3, it's happening. I made a video. Lots of great comments. I enjoyed everybody's comments. I also appreciated how many people picked up on the Patrick Warburton Kronk thing, because that's always just a fun time. It's some very obvious like that's the thing that you do that maybe is getting old now, and then some others like, Doug Bowser really sounds like Joe Swanson. I was like,
oh my god,
that was on purpose.
But that's the thing, like a lot of bits like that, like MDB when he does like the Pokemon challenges or whatever, and it's like the Twitter following thing. It's like they have like this whole cycle of like, at first it's like, this is kind of weird, and it's like, it's funny, he did the thing that he does, and then it's like, it's getting old, and then it gets to a point of like, this is kind of weird, and like he's doing the cycle over and over again. That's gaming 101.
I'm always gonna fall in the camp of feeling like it's hard because like there's people that come in at different times of that too, where like for some of you guys that are listening to this, the theoretical pairs thing is like the oldest, oldest thing. Yeah. And some other ones, it's like, they talked about pairs that one time.
You have never heard of.
So it's tricky because like I don't know. In general, I care too much about like putting myself in other people's shoes and thinking about that. I try to turn it off as much as possible at times where I know I just don't need to worry about it one way or another, because everyone's probably fine and doing their own thing. But with memes and stuff in particular, I think about the people who I know have gotten sick of it, and end up prioritizing that because I don't want people to be mad at me over.
but it's like, who do you know that?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, it's like, it's dumb. So I just try to get over it. But
every person that I can specifically think of and like put a name to is down. Like I have never heard any of our like super regulars being like, I hate the pair stuff, I hate it. And if you do, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that's true.
But like most of the memes, I feel like that have become memes, they have done so because we know people like have embraced it, and we're like, people's like that pair thing, let's do that again, or we just had fun with it.
And I think that's a big factor
fun,
too. So in any case, lots of great comments. I picked a couple that we're going to talk about here. First one from either Anya or Anga. I'm going to go Anya. I don't know. Said, this morning, I was thinking that the Legend of Zelda series has very few spinoffs, which is what I said. Look at that. Teamwork. I believe that a partnership between Nintendo and From Software to make a Zelda Souls would be really cool and a neat spinoff. There have been many great enemies throughout the Zelda series, so if they were to work together, it would be amazing.
That was something that I was going to talk about in my video, but I was like, nah, that's less interesting. Everybody talks about that. No, you know what nobody talks about? Punch Out and From Software. How about that?
For sure. Because the Punch Out one, it feels like it makes sense, but is just not quite as on the nose.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Also, I'm not against on the nose things either. So like, I'm super down for Zelda and From Software. So, I mean, the thing is, it would be a lot closer to just a regular Dark Souls or regular Sekiro or whatever kind of game.
Like, I think that it's not on the nose enough because like Zelda, the only like connecting factor there is that they're both like high fantasy, you know.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But FromSoft games are like in a whole nother direction of like how dark they are and stuff like that. Like Zelda games are dark, but they're dark with like a wink and a nod. And it's like, but at the end of the day, you know, the kid still has the snot hanging from his nose, you know.
Yeah.
Zelda, like people want Zelda to be this like dark, gritty thing so bad, but it's literally never been that. Like there's always been some sort of element that's like, man, that like that salesman dude is crazy.
I guess I feel like it would be especially on the nose in the sense that, I mean, the high fantasy thing, obviously that's part of it. But I mean, obviously, yeah, from Software, that's not exclusive either, because they also have like Bloodborne is, you know, gothic Victorian sort of thing, which is tangential, which for sure.
Yeah.
And Sekiro, same kind of thing. It's tangential, but they're not necessarily like knights and swords and stuff like that. Whereas Zelda.
So like when I think about like whenever we make these videos of like pitching stuff, like this would be cool, I think about the gameplay before anything else, because the theming is like whatever.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's the other thing that I feel like it is kind of close-ish in that Zelda games, I feel like kind of were a bit of a precursor to like boss phases and stuff, the same way that Souls ones are. The Souls ones just take it to a whole nother level. But because Zelda games, it's still kind of like a lock and key situation. You have to watch for what they're gonna do, but theirs is more scripted in a like actual organization.
The thing with like Zelda that is like a disconnect for me. All right, like it makes sense, you know, like I see people doing now, like, yeah, it makes sense, but it's not as interesting to me because like Zelda games, the focus is never really the combat. Like I think the closest that the combat has become to being a focus is Breath of the Wild, and not in that way, not in the sense where it's like it's a sword fight. The combat is a focus in Breath of the Wild because it's like it's a sword fight, or maybe throw a rock at them, you know, like that is like the closest that Zelda has gotten to it being about the combat. FromSoft games are about combat, and there's like the other like themes of like, you know, the Metroidvania sort of like aspects of like circling in on the world and like the game design and like that sort of stuff, which is why I ultimately was like, I think Punch Out would be more interesting,
for sure,
because they have more connecting threads gameplay wise. The only like the thing that made it good for like a video of like the like clickbait, you know, like sort of thing of like the thing that's like, that's interesting, like Punch Out plus, you know, FromSoft, that doesn't make any sense, but like actually though it does. You know?
Right,
it's because of people's like theming first mindset with that sort of thing. Like, but FromSoft wouldn't make a game that's about that, you know, but it's like their gameplay philosophy is like very close.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All that being said, I mean, I would be down. Like, I wouldn't be like Zelda Souls, no. You know, like,
I mean, and to be honest, like it would be exciting, but also that would feel more close in terms of like scope and all that sort of thing to a regular Zelda game, whereas I would prefer a Zelda spin-off to be more spun off.
Like different. You know, like it doesn't feel like it's trying to be the same thing. It's kind of like how people are always like, just make the Pokemon game that you want to spin off, and I'm like, no, because that like cheapens it.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, that like even if a spin-off is good, like Mario Kart, even though it's as big as it is, it still doesn't feel as grand to play as a mainline Mario game.
Yeah. Isn't it like it took me a second to realize the fact that Zelda doesn't have as many spin-offs as Mario, but like it is a bit funny to think of those as like,
I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you define as spin-offs. Because like the thing with Mario is like spin-offs become a thing, you know, like capital TM. Zelda, they kind of like approach spin-offs like Kirby does, where it's like a lot of times they just present it as like, this is a Zelda game.
Right.
But like effectively it's a spin-off because like they never return to it. And they like, you know, like it's kind of like there's more Zelda spin-offs than there are Zelda games in a way.
Yeah, right. I mean, same kind of thing.
But they just don't like, return to the well again.
Yeah. I mean, like Mario 3D games, that's like in some regards, they're all spin-offs of each other a little bit, you know, like few of them are actually kind of, you know, follow a through line.
Yeah. Other than you're Mario, you jump and you're in a 3D space.
Right, exactly. I guess what like it's interesting to me, or that as far as defining spin-offs for Zelda, there's like most of most Zelda games are some kind of adventure. Which, I mean, like, you could say that about Mario Tennis or something, I guess, if you want. There's an adventure mode, but still generally, like, that's not the, that's not the main focus, is like the story and adventure and stuff like that. So it would be interesting to see more of, I don't know, just other things that Link can be kind of slotted into.
Yeah, like games that don't adhere to like the tenets of the series, right?
Yeah,
where it's
right.
like, what is Zelda? And it like checks all the boxes, but this one, you know, and it's a new box to check.
Because even Cadence of Hyrule is like, I mean, it's definitely a spin-off. The gameplay is super different in one sense, but it's also similar in kind of another sense. It's the rhythm element. It differentiates it a good bit, but at the same time, it's still an adventure. So it's just like, I'd like to see Link wearing a new hat,
Or no hat.
There's my hat.
Breath of the Wild until
no
they
hat.
put a hat on. Until they
That's true.
put the hat on. Which
Look at him right there.
Man, you had
fully hatless.
Cool. You had a chance to be cool, and then you just gave him the thing. You just gave him the thing that you always give him.
You did it. I like that he wears a hood though in it. That feels nice. Something.
I mean, but he doesn't though. He still wears a freaking hat when you get all the shrines.
I mean, that's
just regular boy Zelda, man. Like
regular boy Zelda.
Supposed to be breaking conventions, not making the ultimate goal of rewarding people for being like having Stockholm syndrome. It's like, okay, you got the comfort of the thing that because you got all the things, like that's cool. I don't like it.
Yep.
I never wear that outfit.
Nope. What do I wear most of the time? I mean, it's been a long time. I need to get my coffee back.
Just get it digitally.
I mean,
don't make
can't
me
say
do
I haven't. No. I mean, I'm not going to. I like having it physically. That's one that
boo.
More and more games, that is not the case anymore. But that's one that I do enjoy having physically. All right. Jeremiah Jordan said,
I can't even think of a game anymore that I would like the point of having it physically. Like, if anything, there's a game that there's games that have been in my head where it's like I have to get this digitally. It doesn't really have. I don't have a physical version of that.
I mean, I think for me, it would only be something like Breath of the Wild 2 or a Golden Sun game, or like something where I'm like, I want an attachment to this. Like I care about
to
this.
Look at. I want to put it on the shelf.
But there's just not a ton of things that I like really care about in my heart and soul. In the same way,
as about very little. I hate everything. So, but like this one thing, I want to like have a box to represent that I care about it, so it knows that it matters where everything else does not.
That's the way it is. It is also a little bit hard. That was an overstatement for sure. The place where I keep all of my physical games. Which is not a lot of them. It's like one shelf. They can't even fit standing up in this shelf in our DVD case. It's pretty small. So it's probably only about that tall. Holds like 10 to 12 games stacked on top of each other. And
it's like your MySpace top 8.
But I've probably got like 24 physical games or something like that. And it's filled up that whole shelf. And so now it's like, do I just, I don't know, find a new shelf to start something, or like, just have one in there?
Replaced all of my physical games. Because like I had physical games in the very beginning of the life cycle, because it was cheaper on Amazon and all that crap.
Right.
But then I was like, nah, I'm done here. I'm done. And then I couldn't find those games. So I was like, but I still want to play this. So I just bought it again. So here we are.
Here we are. Next comment. Next comment. This little bit of the other end of the spectrum. Sorry, I took a bite at a bad time. Said, note, I think that the Switch Pro is coming this year. That said, it'll not be at E3, and it'll be a chip show. That was, I edited that. I didn't originally say chip. That's the.
I was about to say, what?
The internet will rebel against Nintendo in high fashion, demanding 4K Switches, and that will overshadow what ultimately will be a decent showing for Nintendo, giving some info, but not enough, on Breath of the Wild 2, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Pokemon remakes, and showing off some crazy Blue Ocean game no one asked for, be hated at E3, but will sell 10 to 15 million like Ring Fit. The internet will whine hard, which will end with review bombing Skyward Sword, and then the Switch Pro will be announced early September, and people will still be angry still be angry due to anger inertia and will not really know why. In conclusion, hype is stupid.
Yo, I agree. I don't agree with like the outcome because I think that like there would be a segment of the internet that definitely does all of these things. But I think the consensus will be like most people have already like they know and accept the fact that Nintendo is not about like feeds and speeds or whatever, right? Like they don't really care about that. So them not being like no 4K Switch here or whatever, like that's not our focus. And also like you be kind of like you're not paying attention if you expect them to announce hardware. Like the only time that they like announce hardware at an E3 is like when they're at E3, you know, like they like to like, and they've said as much, like the way that they think about like being physically at E3 and having like the pressers and stuff like that is when they have physical hardware to talk about and like a new generation of it or whatever, right? So for people to expect them to be like, oh, this digital event or whatever, they're going to give us a 4K Switch here, you know, I don't know about that. So yeah,
I mean, some people will be mad for
really
sure, but yeah, you're right. They'd be out of touch.
Yeah,
sure, because like that's
like I think they would definitely be the minority, rather than it being something that like people are like mostly rallying behind, where it's like, yeah, I hate this E3, it sucks because we didn't get Switch Pros or whatever. But I agree with the conclusion. Hype is indeed stupid. We really get nothing out of it. I mean, we get something out of it. We get the clicks and we get the conversation, and you know, like that's fun. But hype does not benefit you as a person that plays video games. You cannot play hype.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree that like there's a difference for sure. I mean, I think I said in my video, but like there's a difference between hype and excitement. And I think like hype kind of has expectations weighted behind it, whereas excitement is just like, you know, I can be excited for something and also nothing come of it and be like, all right, well, whatever, it was what it was. That's
also I think the problem with like hype is just like longer term excitement.
You're right.
I think both inherently have a shelf life, and when you're like positioning your thing on like the hope that people will be hyped for it for forever, you're just doing yourself to fail. Because like something could be a very good game and be very exciting and stuff like that, but if you're re-announcing it over and over and over again every time you do that, unless you like deliver, and every time you show it, it's like, oh, that's why I waited another year to see this again or whatever, right? Which is rare. It's super rare. Like I think the only game that has like achieved that even closely in recent memory is Breath of the Wild. Because like, oh, here's Zelda Wii U, and it's like, oh man, this looks dope. And then they go away for 2 years or 3-4 years even, and then they're like, all right, here's Zelda Wii U again. It's like, yo, what the heck is this? This looks entirely different from when we saw it in 2011 or whatever. This looks sick. And then they go away for another 2 years. And they're like, all right, it's freaking, here's Zelda Wii U again. And Miyamoto sitting on the couch talking to Aonuma at the Game Awards. It's like, yo, this is crazy. Like, never expected it to be this big. And then they're like, it's Breath of the Wild. You know, like every time they like one up themselves in some way, it wasn't like, here's Horizon Zero Dawn again.
It's a new announcement every time. Essentially, it's like this is it's an unveiling every time instead of just like an update.
This game got sequels that we never got to play the predecessor for.
Right. I mean, that's something like, I don't know. I've been seeing trailers for Biomutant recently, and like that game's been announced a really long time, but I think they showed some stuff about that game a long time ago and then kind of never showed anything else. It just kind of fell into silence. And then now they're like, oh, it's coming out in May. Let's show some more stuff. And which like, I feel like was a good arc of like, sure, for a while, people were like, what happened to Biomutant? You know? And the same thing will be true of like Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever. Like what happened to those things? But at least ideally, by the time we see something, it'll be like, we'll have a date associated with it or something like that. And it'll be like, like an unveiling.
Biomutant didn't really have that effect on me. Biomutant, I was like, this looks neat. And then they didn't say anything for years, and I forgot it existed. And then they said, like, it's happening again. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, this game should have, like, happened already by now. Like, I might check it out. Who knows? But
I mean, I'll see how reviews turn out for it and stuff. It's, you know, it would just be something I'd play for fun if.
I think the closest thing that's like not an IP that like I actively care about, like Metro, like I think Metroid is going to have that effect because like people care about Metroid.
Yeah.
Is Beyond Good and Evil 2. And I don't like it's an established thing, you know, like people care about the game. It's like a cult classic or whatever. But I didn't and I don't, but I think that like the initial impression for that game was like, yo, their vision for this game is sick. I don't know if they'll stick the landing,
right?
So far it looks interesting. So when they resurface that game, I'm down.
Yeah, man. So we'll see. Actually, do you think that game's just straight up a next gen game when it comes out? Beyond Good and Evil 2?
What do you mean by that?
As in like PS5, Xbox Series X exclusive?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it might be like a Switch Pro, you know, cloud gaming sort of situation. But yes, it's going to be like I would be surprised if it was on like Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and especially just regular Switch. Like there was a rumor for a while that it was going to be like a Nintendo NX timed exclusive or whatever. It's like no, no.
Man. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about games announcing themselves on a like a Cyberpunk 2077 kind of thing, and then like being like, oh, it's just next gen. I mean, like if it's that long, kind of who cares? I guess it's not like people bought a PS4 at that time because they saw Beyond Good and Evil 2 was going to come out and they're waiting.
People did.
I mean,
but those
you're
people
not
are
wrong.
stupid.
So yeah, man. As far as this comment, yeah, I appreciated this a lot. It's a fun time.
Yes, I'm down. It has similar energy. I'm down for that. Hype is stupid. I agree. Completely agree with you.
Nevertheless, I'm excited. Okay, this last comment that I pulled from the video, I responded at first and I was like, I don't know if this is real or satire, but I'm pulling it for the for the podcast. In retrospect, I reread it. Raymond Rupp. And I think it is like it's genuine, but it's especially there's no punctuation that makes it feel a little bit satirical,
yeah, like copy pasta ish.
Yeah, exactly. And I think these are just like all of the general hopes, not just at E3. Well, but right now it's just at E3. So.
Yeah, there's a couple of giveaways in here too.
So it's just
we'll get to as we go through the comments.
It'll be fun. So again, Raymond, if you're listening to this, I hope all these things happen for you. That would be great. If not, I did what I could by reading this on the podcast. Here we go. I'm going to read the whole thing in as few breaths as possible because there is not a single punctuation mark.
You want to be true to his original vision.
You're so right. Okay. Raymond Rupp says, I hope for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Pro at E3 we get is the return of online virtual console game service. The return online virtual console games I want is original Game Boy, GBA, GBC, Sega, Wii U, SNES, NES, DS, N64, and GameCube, and the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Pro games I want is Pokemon Remakes, Nintendo Land Remake, Dragon Ball Z, Kakarot, Ben 10, GTA 5, PacMan 4, and GTA 6. SpongeBob SquarePants the movie remake. SpongeBob SquarePants the remake of the Flying Dutchman remake.
No, Revenge of the Flying
Dutchman. Remake of the Flying Dutchman. Yeah, you're right. Revenge. I just read that wrong. Nicktoons Unite remake. Ed, Edd and Eddy, the Misadventures.
Ed and Eddy.
I love it. Adventures remake, Kids Next Door Operation video game remake, The Simpsons Hit and Run remake, Pokemon XD and Pokemon Coliseum remake, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, Mario Odyssey 2, Splatoon 3, Pokemon Snap 2, Pokemon Master Collection, Mario Kart 9 remake, and Kirby Classic Collection for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Pro in 2021. And I hope for the Nintendo Switch Pro is portable so you can play on TV and play it on the go. And I want the price to be for the Nintendo Switch Pro is around $350 to $399 for the Nintendo Switch Pro. And I hope the Nintendo Switch Pro will be early release date, like early July, August, September, first summer, early release date 2021.
Yo.
Raymond, I love your comment. It's great. It gave me some good laughs. I think just the no punctuation.
I saw Ben 10, like the Ben 10 killed me because it's like he didn't specify. Like there's Ben 10 game, sure, but this man just said Ben 10. Like I want Ben 10 on a Nintendo Switch.
Also, I love how much you love Nickelodeon stuff. Obviously, like that's
a huge Nickelodeon fan.
Good things.
He also likes Ed and Eddy.
That's
I
true.
mean, Ben 10's on Cartoon Network.
Oh, that's okay. Yep.
So he's a diverse man. This man likes the Disney Channel. He likes freaking. Wait, does he like Disney? Is there any Disney? No, there's no Disney stuff. He's
None Disney.
It's just Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, dude.
All the way, man.
He's down for Viacom.
That's true. So there it is. There's that. I care about some of those things, and some of the others I don't. But I hope them.
You freaking love
for
Ben
you.
10.
Ben 10 is
and
life.
Pac-Man 4.
Is that a game? What is that even?
Pac-Man 4, dude.
Pac-Man 4.
You know about Pac-Man 4.
I think it's supposed to be Pikmin 4.
Baby, dude.
Oh yeah.
All those men on the turnpike.
I didn't make the connection that it was supposed to be Pikmin. And was like, I don't know what Pikemen 4 is, but now I'm just picturing lots of Pikmin with like vault or what are those called? You know, where you're, I don't know, pikes, I guess.
Sure.
There it is. That's all the comments from my video.
I like how, and like also like a note on how you read it. You like preempted. You saw Splatoon 3 as Splatoon 3, and you read Mario Odyssey as Super Mario Odyssey. like, you like separated those words, and he just wrote it normal, dude. Like
it's sometimes the heart wants what the heart wants. He wants Odyssey, and I just know it. I can feel it in there. So yeah, that's all the comments from my video.
And like instead of N, the and you didn't do that for you. Like you didn't say ooh can. You said you when he said you.
I'm nothing if not inconsistent. We'll go with that. Yeah, E3, man. I feel like it'll be talked about a decent amount over the next couple
I thought you were going to
months.
say I feel like it's going to be toxic, and I can guarantee it will be.
Also that
for sure.
Yeah, I very much hope that there's, like you said, no such and such one. I mean, I'm fine to say that like such and such is showing was kind of bad. Like that's fine. But like if Xbox and Nintendo both have great presentations, who cares about which one was like better because of a slightly, whatever. Like
and also it's like I don't know. I just think that like saying like, and I get it's like a thing that people. It's kind of like how I have the hang up whenever people are like the term overrated, specifically underrated. It's like whatever. But overrated is stupid because like if people love the thing, people love the thing. You may not love the thing, and that's fine. But it's self-important to call it overrated because you don't love the thing.
Here's the question: you may say that, but what if I say the words to you? Crash Bandicoot.
I just think people are stupid, like that's different. Because I don't even think that Crash Bandicoot is overrated. Like I don't think that many people love the game that much. That's why I don't get a whole bunch of pushback whenever I'm like Crash Bandicoot sucks. It's like there's people that love Crash Bandicoot and that like they like it fine. Like you like Crash Bandicoot fine, but you're not going to argue me down about when I say it's garbage.
I would say that it might be the perfect example of overrated for that exact reason because like people think of it highly, but then as soon as you put some cracks in that armor, they're like, like I see what you're saying.
I don't know. I just like
but yeah,
for me, when I think overrated or when I think the type of people that would call something overrated, it's usually something that's current. It's like I don't like Pokemon, that's overrated. Crash Bandicoot is more so like rose tinted goggles sort of situation, and I think that that's a different thing from it being overrated. To me, it's like most times when people call something overrated, like I said, it's like, I never liked 2D Mario Max. That's overrated, like that sort of thing. It's like a way to, and I'm not saying, I know I just mentioned Max, but I'm not saying Max does this specifically, but it's like a way to try to make your opinion sound like a fact almost, it's like you're trying to skirt that line of like, you're acknowledging it's like, it's my opinion, but I'm making it sound more important than it really is by saying that the thing is overrated, which is
But you know what is overrated? Your video.
It's true.
Oh man, no, actually opposite. I'm sad that like these are I said this to you in DMs, but like this is my favorite kind of videos that we make. I think is the like just ideas ones.
I'm not really worried about it because those videos are also the ones that like usually do good in
Just
the
pick
long
up
run.
in the long run.
Like
and
that,
stuff.
it's rare that those videos just die and
Mhm.
stay dead. So like
That's true.
it's like whatever. Like those are super evergreen videos. Like
Yeah.
and I was about to say, unless freaking Rockstar makes an F-Zero game, like
But
it
if it
might.
does, like,
But
you know,
I was like, hold on though. Like if they do that, that video is going to blow up. Like, so like yeah, it's like there's no bad time to make a video like that, and if it doesn't do great off the bat, it's like whatever. Because like we saw like similar thing happen when you made that Waluigi video, and we're like, ah man, that was a really fun video. It sucks that didn't do better, and then it did better. You know. Like,
Yep. I mean, it's always just great because like I was gonna do something within that kind of realm this week, but then the E3 stuff came up, so we did that. So, but yeah, when there's not other stuff to talk about, especially which on Monday and Tuesday there wasn't. So
yep, there was nothing. So like, you know what?
Time to do it.
This. But also, it's like I like making those videos. Videos.
Yeah, exactly.
I like made that video specifically because I was waiting. Usually, when there's nothing to talk about, I'm like, all right, I'll make my video entirely on Monday. Sometimes I'll like, I'll chip away at it. I'm like, all right, I'll write a little bit of a script after directly to you or whatever, and then I'll chip away at that script. But when there's nothing, I wait until Monday midday, and I'm like, all right, they're not announcing anything. I'm just going to make a video that like I'm passionate about for one reason or another. And usually those videos are just easier to make because like they write themselves. It's the type of video that like it's harder to keep short and concise than it is to be like, oh man, like I don't know if I can think about enough to say to make this a whole video. Like I took games out that I was going to talk about rather than being like, man, and I got to add this though,
It's true. I know one of the games he took out because he was going to have me talk about it. And I said, I don't have time right now. So we're holding it back for a follow-up perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah, comments from it. Here we go. Pat Green said, well,
I took out another game too. Did I tell you about that?
I don't think so.
It was Metroid.
Oh, interesting. Obviously the developer that you want to make that is Sony. It's PlayStation. Just their all of them.
It was Bethesda. Or not Bethesda, but freaking id software. They made
interesting
Doom 2016.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal, and it's like a very similar like they kind of more so like Metroidvania-fied Doom and like made it like Arcadian. It was like so like that. I mean, I'll make it. This will make it in a video eventually, I'm sure. It'll be a more fleshed out idea then. But like the listeners are directly to you. You heard it here first, dude.
Ooh, scoop. Pat Green says, "Whoa, I'm in this video. Feels good." When a little heart face. There it is. If Wario would get a comeback, would it be a new Wario Woods puzzle game, a platformer, or a bag of tricks like WarioWare? Maybe a NES remix type game where Wario shows up to mess with classic games and their mechanics. New idea, Wario RPG by Squaresoft. Mario is dead, or is he? Also, let's get Phillips to make a Zelda game.
Yeah, I would be so down for them to be a NES remix game. Like that's the new Switch Online thing, like a NES remix game, and all of them are just starring Wario. I'll be very down for that.
I mean, especially like if it's like the skins thing for Pac-Man or whatever, where like make all of the NES games such that they can have different skins, and then just have like a Wario skin for
I want it to just be Wario.
I know you do.
Wario, except for in like freaking Mario, where there's the Mario and the Luigi. It's Mario and Waluigi.
Oh, there you go. Oh, interessante. I would say my thoughts on this, but that was Wario was the video that I was going to make this week that I decided to hold off. So
spoilers.
It'll happen when there's not something else to talk about. Actually, that said, I need to find time to pre-make some videos for while I'm gone for parental leave stuff.
Maybe E3, dude.
That's true. E3. Yeah. So, in any case, there you go, Pat. There it is. I'll tell you my thoughts in the video. Because, I mean, I'll say this though. Like, I do think it's interesting that like Wario does have a kind like several different routes that he does have like the Wario's Wood stuff. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and that is the fun thing with Wario. Like, also like Waluigi, like I mentioned in the Waluigi video, the Link thing that's a bit tricky is in general he's made out to be a slightly more serious character, which I think Nintendo sees as reason to hold him back from spin-offs, because they're like, well, Link shouldn't be doing this or that. Like, that's not exclusively true. He's in Mario Kart, but even in Mario Kart, like, he's kind of like a little angry or something like that. Whereas Mario, they're fine with having him be all the spectrums of emotion, and Wario definitely the same thing. Like, they're happy to have him be silly in anything that wouldn't make sense. WarioWare is a great example. So it's easy to be able to imagine a pitch for a Wario game that's pretty much any genre, just because they would do it.
Because he's like almost Deadpool. Like,
yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, he breaks the fourth wall in WarioWare a little bit. All right, next comment. This is from Rusty Hound, and it's long.
Yeah,
here goes. So here's a comment. An open world F-Zero game done by Rockstar would be a dream come true, honestly. Basically, I want Nintendo to just give Rockstar free reign to do whatever they want to do with the franchise. Maybe only tell them it's got to contain two things. It's got to have flying cars, and they got to be fast. Maybe they could tone down and discuss adjustments after the fact, after seeing what Rockstar could come up with. They could focus.
I think the one parameter that they should definitely put on them is like, don't make it GTA. Like, it doesn't have to be like, we don't have to make it an M-rated game just because Rockstar's making it.
Yeah, I mean, I think your point was
he's fine.
It's easy to take the two different directions with the Rockstar Captain Falcon thing. Like, either that it's like it's just a Captain Falcon skin or F-Zero skin on GTA or whatever, which is not the case. That would be more like the Zelda From Software thing, where it's like, they're totally, whatever. Like, they're both guys with legs and cars.
Take design principles that you've learned from making the video games that you make and apply that to the world of F-Zero.
Like, the interconnectivity and those kinds of things is the important part there for sure. They could focus on Captain Falcon's origin story as he tries to make a name for himself as an up-and-coming bounty hunter, but not in the same sense that Samus is. No, more of a morally gray protagonist who works outside of the law. I always saw Captain Falcon sharing more similarities with Batman rather than the campy hero of justice depiction he had in the anime series. They could introduce a karma system similar to what Infamous had, where evil actions, missions, and decisions could impact what path he goes down.
I am Falcon punching everyone.
It's a Fable situation. You got devil horns out to the heavens. Going full evil would result in him donning the Blood Falcon persona. Oh, nice. I want them to make a story that challenges players to think about what lengths they would go to preserve their moral integrity versus how much it would take to break them. I'm thinking they could blend elements from various superhero games like Infamous and Batman with elements from various Star Wars games like Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Rogue Squadron, or Pod Racers. Nintendo doesn't really have many games anymore with great stories and complex themes outside of Zelda sometimes. So I think this would present a very good opportunity to use a Nintendo IP to build a serious game from. Since they're rebooting some series and making great adjustments lately, now would be a great time to do so for F-Zero. It could have a lot of potential to be something really cool if Nintendo gave a chance to the right developers. Since they aren't doing anything with it regardless, why not? I have a few ideas for what they can do with Star Fox as well, but let's be real. Nintendo won't ever allow for any of it, considering how much they are creatively restricting studios who work on the Paper Mario series. The end.
I wouldn't say they're creatively restricting Paper Mario. I would say they're kind of doing the opposite of that. Like, they're restricting them in the sense of like, or not. It doesn't even sound like that. I think a lot of people packaged what those interviews said in a negative way, where they're like, oh, Nintendo said that they can only use Mario characters or whatever, instead of like creating their own versions of that. I think that that's more of a self-imposed thing on them, and like the sense of like, don't do the old Paper Mario thing. They 1000% that self-imposed. They're like, we don't want to do that. In the same way that, like, with Splatoon in the early days of that development, Miyamoto was like, why don't you just make this a Mario Sunshine game? No, we want to make our own thing, right? So they're like, we want to like reinvent the wheel. We want to do that. It's not something that's like, but like we got to win over fans and like we're just getting, no, they're like, we're bored. We don't want to do that again. We want to do something different. But all that to say, yeah, Star Fox, I think they feel this weird pressure to just keep Star Fox when Star Fox just doesn't work anymore. So
the thing with Paper Mario that's interesting too is that they didn't not create new characters for Origami King, for example. Like I know that there were those interviews that kind of made it sound like that, but like Ollie and Olivia are definitely new characters. But I think it does seem like they have a hard time where the Mario brand identity and what the Mario world is a very specific thing. Right. And that they have a hard time knowing how they can like add to that, which is, I mean,
it feels like they kind of want to keep it in the same canon now, where it's like the Paper Mario games kind of like existed as their own thing for a while. But now they're like, no, we want to be a part of the broader Mario universe, so we don't want to like make things that like conflict with it. And like we want Olivia to show up in Mario Kart 9, you know, like that sort of thing. Rather than
in Paper Mario, you know, like all of the new characters pretty much, as I'm thinking about it, are all Origami characters outside of the, you know, like the staplers and those kinds of things.
And like in freaking
and Origami is impermanent for that world, you know, like it's everything's being origamified, but it's like regular things that are being turned into origami. So that is interesting, where it's like pretty much it feels like a reset to zero by the end of it, where you know, it's like, the end of a show or a Bugs Bunny episode or something like that, where it's like, the guy exploded, he's dead. Next episode, you know, Wile E. Coyote's back, you know. So similarly for Paper Mario, like there's some element of like, it's origami. We can kind of do, you know, whatever we want without touching the rest of the universe. So yeah, but I feel like Mario is the only thing where there's that, because even in Zelda and Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, I mean, you saw it in all the promotional material on the front end. There's a new character that Astor just like shows up in. He's a bad guy in this, and he just, you know, shows up. They made him new for this, even though it is a spinoff. So even for Zelda, if they're allowing for like world building creativities outside of the mainline thing, I feel like that's, you know, it feels like a Mario specific restriction to whatever degree it is a restriction. But F-Zero, do it.
Yes, please.
I like all those ideas. They're cool. I mean, I think, the question of like how serious to make things or how dark-ish, like in terms of morality, if we're thinking about that, then like, you know, there's a large sliding scale of what you could include as far as moral decisions. Like, you know, you could just go straight up and murder people. Like that's,
I think that Nintendo's territory is their Marvel. They're a Marvel movie, not a DC one. Like they're not 100%. Trying to freaking be Zack Snyder and make Mario say the F word just because they can, you know, like, and I think that a lot of people want that, you know, to go back to the Zelda thing. It's like, oh, like there's like, you know, the freaking Ocarina of Time or the Wind Waker original demo that makes Zelda look like an adult video game, and I feel validated for playing it because people won't call it a baby game for babies, and I won't feel inadequate. You know, I think that like if anything, they want to be in that like Marvel territory where it's like it can be seen as like this adult thing, but it's still not taking itself too seriously. We won't be serious if we don't say F.
And I think I definitely agree that I'd love just a couple more of their franchises that kind of not toe the line exactly, but are kind of higher up on that without going over. Yeah, because honestly, I would be put off for sure if it's a bunch of like M-rated games or whatever, not because of the content in them so much as like the mentality, like the Zack Snyder mentality behind it, where it's like, I don't care about things being edgy. I just care about things being like, you know, real or thought out or whatever. And like, that's, hopefully happens.
And I think more than anything, that's a mechanical thing. And we talked about that before,
right.
like,
Yeah,
with Breath of
exactly.
the Wild and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, Breath of the Wild is still a kid's game,
Yeah.
but it's a game that like doesn't talk down to anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even kids don't need to be talked down to. Like, I
Mhm.
feel it's weird because it's like the games that like we grew up with or whatever. People have this whole thought, like Pokemon is a good
Mhm.
example. People think like, oh, this game was freaking impossible, and it's like, no, you were 6, but like it's like games
Yeah.
feel hard because like they're doable and they're designed for you to beat them, but you're
Mhm.
6.
Yeah.
So like you're not going to be as good as somebody who is not,
Uh-huh.
and it's not like adept to playing games and stuff like that. But like Breath of the Wild, when we were 6,
Mhm.
compared to like now, would have felt impossible. Like if it was just like a thing of like, here's Breath of the Wild, like you didn't grow up with like how kids now, like they forget like their first game's Minecraft and then they play Breath of the Wild after. It's like, okay, I like have enough of the fundamentals that like made Minecraft down pat. Like I understand how to control a character in a 3D world. I understand that there's like crafting and like building stuff and like there's just certain connections that you make outside of Breath of the Wild that helps you come into Breath of the Wild and understand it more. Them making games that are like more mature, I think it's more important for them to do that, like to make them more mechanically mature.
Right.
And that's something I've talked about for forever, like with Kirby. And people are like, bro, it's a kid's game. It's like, no, but like kids aren't as dumb as you think they are.
Right. It's honestly, that's it's something that I'm not sure how to feel about a certain aspect of, which is that like at this point, a lot
Mm-hmm.
have played a lot of games before. Like I'm about to be a parent and I've played a lot of games before.
Have you? That's crazy.
Like one or two.
Knew.
Yeah. I thought about it.
I never
no.
so played video games before.
But like, so my friend, Chris and his son Asher's 8 at this point, 7, something like that, within that range. And he's turning 8 in May. That's what it is. So they played like Mario Odyssey together, and like Chris had already played Breath of the Wild, and then Asher played Breath of the Wild. And some other games and stuff. But in a lot of those situations, I know that once it got to a tricky part, Asher just would be like, can you do this for me? And then Chris would do it. And then he would do it because it was, it's like, yeah, sure, of course, I'll do it because A, it's fun to do. B, it's fun to be the dad who can solve a problem for your kid, all that kind of stuff. But it does make me wonder, like probably in Asher's mind now, it's not as challenging, not that it matters much necessarily, but the game isn't like as challenging, or like he hasn't necessarily been challenged in certain regards the same way that somebody who doesn't have somebody to like solve the problem for you, like as much as just point you towards the solution. I don't know, it's more of a like psychology kind of thing. I can't speak to any of this.
I think it just depends on like the kid and the parent, because it's like me in that situation, I had that with Pokemon where it was like, I can't read right now. I'm not capable of reading this. Mom, can you read this for me or whatever? And then it's like, I got context clues. It's like, oh, okay, I don't have to read it. I just have to like press this and then it'll get me through the part that I'm on or whatever, right? And there's similar things where it's like Asher can watch his dad beat a boss and see how he did it, like get to improve enough to do it on his own, right? Like you don't have to like physically do something to learn how to do it.
Right. I mean, that's true. Yeah. Like I watched a video last night of somebody playing Pac-Man 99. They were just, they had been streaming it or something like that, and watched a video of them playing it. And definitely like that made me be better at it right from the get-go, because I understood the mechanics because I'd seen them happen already. And like I understood a little bit more of the like, how to beat other people a little bit better or something. So yeah,
I mean that goes back to what we were talking about last week about knowing how to learn, right?
Yeah, right.
Where it's like people, like some people learn faster different ways, but it's important to be able to gain something from every way to learn, right?
Yeah.
I talk to Scootish a lot about Smash Brothers, where he's like, I'll never be good at Smash Brothers because I don't have enough time to play that much. And it's like, you don't really need to play that much. Like, I think that like you learn way more by watching people that are good at the game than you will playing it. Like playing the game helps you learn like how to deal with certain situations.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I got stage spiked or whatever, right? Like playing that can teach you, because it's like, oh, I got hit with the thing, I pressed the shield button and then I lived, you know, I teched off the wall or whatever. But like watching somebody else or hearing them talk about the game can be a shortcut. If somebody could just tell you like, oh, if you get hit off the wall and you're at a certain percent, you could just press shield and then you'll live. It's like that. It's like you may not be a visual learner or be able to learn from hearing somebody talk about something and you think that you need to play it to learn it. But in reality, it's like you have the capacity to learn in all of these ways. You just,
I mean, the other question being like, you know, does somebody even care about learning in certain circumstances? Like there's definitely some games where it's like, yeah, I know I could get better at the strategy side of it, or I could grind a whole bunch and then just demolish people and have fun doing that, you know? And it's like similar. There's a lot of games where there's that kind of thing, or I mean, things in life in general that are like that, where it's like, I'm just gonna, whatever. I don't want to learn how to program.
Yeah, it's like
drums.
I could get better at this specific thing, but I'll just use the thing that I'm already good at to get around.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
like
so that's always
did college. It's like I could write an essay, or I can be like, but what if I made it a video?
Okay, side note, story time. Let me tell you all about in 8th grade. I was in French class and we all had to read a book and do a book report on it. And I asked my teacher, hey, could I just write a song kind of thing instead? Or like, oh, did I already tell this? If so,
I think you did. I mean, you might have told me. I don't know what context it came up, but
I remember telling my parents recently. So the long story short is I straight up never read the book, and I just read the back of the book with some like guitar behind. It was like a mystery novel or whatever, and I just played it, or like played some guitar stuff that sounded mysterious. And I think I legitimately recorded myself going for like some wind sound effects, because that somebody had showed me like the year before, like you can make yourself sound like wind if you just go.
Oh my God.
I definitely did that.
You learned that in 8th grade?
Yeah, I did not do well on that project. End of story.
Literally, college, because that's how I did like most of my assignments. It made me so much better at this. Like, like the whole thing, like what I was talking about Monday, where it's like, I don't know what to make my video about. Me doing that for college of like, man, this assignment is due in 3 hours and it's a video, you know, being able to make a video in 3 hours, like, and it be good enough. It wasn't like the best video in the world, but it was good enough for people to be like, this is decent. You know,
honestly,
that watch a video of mine and be like, this is your best video ever. And I'm like, dope. It took me 3 hours to make that.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times something being a best something, it's more like it resonated with me better, you know, like that kind of thing, which like is great. Like that's awesome. I think there's definitely something you said too for like, I get, it's a blessing and a curse. I get so much more done when because I've learned to procrastinate. When there's a deadline, I get so much more done. But there's so many things I would love to do, but I have 0 deadlines. I can't set deadlines. You and I have talked about this offline, but like I can't set deadlines for myself for arbitrary reasons. Like it has to be a real thing for it to count. Yeah. But there's tons of music projects that is like, man, I'd love to do those, but I don't have reason to do it. And there's like enough question marks ahead of time. For example, I've got hundreds of voice memos on my songs. On my phone, some of which are like fully fledged out songs, but I don't know exactly what genre to go in with it or whatever. So I literally do nothing because I don't have a band that needs a new record, you know? So it's just like, what a trouble. But in any case, Ethan Kim says, moving on to the next comment, Ethan Kim starts out with 2 of the best words in the Nintendo dictionary. Golden Sun is my most wanted franchise.
I read Golden Sun. I was like, I'm pulling this comment. I replied to it though. I brought up that was gonna be a thing, but you didn't have time.
Yep. Golden Sun is my most wanted franchise to be revived. I'd love it if Nintendo handed it off to Square. Their recent works with Nintendo have all been huge successes sales-wise. Dragon Quest XI, Octopath, Bravely's success is yet to be seen, but I really hope it does well. Plus, Triangle Strategy is coming out next year. I love that these are available, but Nintendo, you got your own great turn-based JRPG that's also very different from Fire Emblem. Why are you sleeping on it?
It's because people slept on it.
I mean, definitely I don't know. It's I feel like it's just a thing where Camelot makes, most of their, maybe not even their money, but like the kind of easier games, or like they just prioritize doing Mario Golf and Mario Tennis and that kind of stuff. And the Golden Sun is like more of a passion project,
Yeah. But like, if
yeah,
Golden Sun sold 5 million units, they'd be like, I'll give Mario Golf to somebody else. Literally anybody can make Mario Golf. Like,
yeah.
They could do that to just Nintendo EPD and it would be unchanged. Nobody would be like, this is real Mario Golf. But like Golden Sun, I think it's like a different situation. I think they could give it to a different studio and it would be fine. But I think JRPGs are more representative of who makes them than Mario Golf is.
I mean, yeah, and it kind of sucks too, because like a Mario spin-off game is just gonna sell more, even if it's like a worse one. Like its cap is so much higher than JRPG is. Like, so I could easily see.
Depends on what JRPG is.
No, I mean, like
Mario Golf's not going to sell more than Pokemon. Mario Golf.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not considering Pokemon as a quote unquote a JRPG in that case. Just like 2 weeks ago, you didn't either. I mean, you did, but
wait, I was going to say
you said something to the effect of, we were talking about how like it's not like an entry point for everybody into JRPGs.
Yeah. I mean, it is
a JRPG,
yes. But like people don't approach it right. When they think I want to play Pokemon, they're not like I'm looking for a new JRPG to play, but it's literally a JRPG.
Right.
And like I think that any established JRPG, like a franchise that's like on the same like level time wise as Mario Golf or any Mario sports game, has the potential. Like Fire Emblem, I think could outsell Mario Golf. Like, I mean, why not? But I think that there's potential there. It's like,
I mean, the other question is like
franchises, less
resource
franchises for sure.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's even less about the full sales. Full sale. It's about the less about the sales number and more about the return on investment, and that like a Mario Golf probably takes less effort to produce than a Golden Sun. So
it depends on what Golden Sun, like, it depends on what it is.
Yeah, right.
Because I think Mario Golf could be not cheap, but relatively cheap compared to a JRPG, because there's like a lot of
that's what I just said. Is that Mario Golf costs less money to make.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, wait, what are you talking about? So, but yeah, so like even if they sold the same amount, which I mean, in my opinion, for sure.
But like again, no, like even on the other end, like JRPGs, usually the thing with them, like a lot of JRPG studios, they'll sell 2 million units and be like, dope, this is a massive success.
Yeah, right.
It's a whole new franchise. So that, I mean, a lot of JRPGs might be even cheaper.
Yeah, I mean,
it just depends on how they
possible,
make it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like,
as far
it's
as
like a HD 2D JRPG, it probably would be cheaper than Mario Golf. But if it's like Dragon Quest 11, there's no way it'll be cheaper.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, but that's what I'm talking about too, as far as like, if they're saying that at 2 million, that's like, it's the same as like ARMS as a fighting game. So like 2 million is like, whoa, that's up there. The possible cap for Mario spin-off games, Mario Kart is a spin-off game, but like, obviously a special case. But that's, I think, Nintendo just has a more vested interest in if it's one or the other. And the thing that's just so weird is more often than not, that's not the either or for most studios outside of Nintendo. Has a bunch of those, like Intelligent Systems having Paper Mario and Fire Emblem, like tonally like, pretty different games, but like, for Square, a lot of their teams, it's like, are we going to do Bravely Default, or are we going to do Project Triangle Strategy?
JRPG A or JRPG
exactly.
B.
So, that's the thing that makes Golden Sun probably be a hard sell to Nintendo is if they're depending on
but
Camelot.
I think basically what I'm saying is I think that if Golden Sun did better, Nintendo would be okay with them prioritizing that and giving Mario Golf to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to do better than Mario Golf. It just has to do good enough that people
for their internal,
for it to be worthy of being a long-running franchise to Nintendo. In the same way that Fire Emblem is, like Fire Emblem, right? Like they make intelligent systems with Paper Mario and Fire Emblem. That's not a problem for them because Nintendo's like, we want both. All right, we'll bring one away, and they'll help you with they'll help you with Fire Emblem, and also make Paper Mario, right?
So I mean, that's the Nintendo not doing Golden Sun thing, which again, maybe there still are at some point, but
there's a rumor or whatever.
There's a rumor. Them not doing that, it could easily be that it didn't perform enough sales wise. But I mean, there could be even like things like Mother. I doubt it because Dark Dawn ends with again have yet to play Dark Dawn, ends with a cliffhanger. So like it sounds like they had plans. And they had plans for a fourth game.
Something with a spoiler. That's
like if they have plans for a fourth game, you would assume like they have reason to do a fourth game. But at the same time, there's definitely, we know that Nintendo has a logic sometimes of like, we don't have enough reason to do this project, so we're just not going to do it. Something like they come gameplay first, whatever.
Metroid 5 or whatever.
Yeah, right. So, maybe there's other random things holding it back. But that said, I think...
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Freaking Metroid Prime 2D or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
TLDR, I always think those things are stupid, and it's annoying because it's like people at this point, especially, they make them preemptively to be sob stories, so that when their game gets C&D'd, they can come out with a new game that's wholly owned by them off the back of the fervor around the game that they made off the back of Nintendo's IP from the studio that brought you Metroid Prime 2D. Like I can already see can already see the sob story Kickstarter right now of them being like, Nintendo canceled our video game using their IP, but now we have our own on the up and up legal video game. You should buy it.
If that really is a tactic, that's
I guarantee you it is. I guarantee you it is. Because like there's so many people that just start out doing it on the up and up of like, we're making our own game inspired by this thing, and Nintendo doesn't lift the finger. They're like, all right, cool, dude. But the ones that are like Pokemon Uranium is like, why can't you just make your own thing? Because people wouldn't care, and that's exactly why it's a problem. That's why Nintendo has legal ground to stand on, where they're like, the only reason why people care about this video game is because you're using our property to get people excited about it. And it's like,
I mean, the thing that it did prove to me though is that just that, I don't know, like vibe wise, it was cool. So like completely aside from that team and whatever, like just Nintendo doing a 2D something, like bringing Metroid Fusion up or something like that, and doing just doing a Metroid Fusion remake, like, could look cool. And so that's fun, that like it doesn't only look cool in the old style, but like that they could update it a little bit and still be pixel graphics and be cool about it. But yeah, I definitely, I mean, that's, I think that's like low down if they do that.
That would be more of a thing of pixel games are just less economical. Like it's a lot easier to like just throw a 3D model into an engine and develop a game around that rather than to like hand draw all these pixel animations and stuff like that.
Here's, as an aside, I think it's odd. Like I've heard more and more people recently being like, man, I just hope it's not another hand-drawn something game. And I don't know. I don't know why.
That's weird.
I don't know what context I even hear that in. But
those are like that's like the sickest art style.
Yeah, to me, that's like Streets of Rage 4 looks cool, and like, I mean, I don't know.
And there's sometimes where it's not hand drawn, but like it emulating hand drawn
Right.
could also
And
be sick.
sometimes
Like Arc
it could be
System
hand
Works
drawn
games are
and be
sick.
bad at it. Sure. That's the
Yes.
thing too. But like that just seems like odd feedback to me. I'll pay attention more to like when I hear somebody say it.
Pokemon game.
True. I mean, which like
Mystery Dungeon
definitely
is kind of
that's what I was about to say.
that,
Yeah,
but...
it's the concept of it, but not the execution.
Yeah.
All right, last comment from your video, 88 leads. Second 88 leads comment in today's video. Said Star Fox, the first Nintendo IP I fell in love with. I've only played the SNES and the 64, didn't complete the latter. It was a real shame to find out that the franchise hasn't been doing so well when I returned to Nintendo last year. Here's hoping Nintendo does something good with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of like Star Fox. I think somebody made a tweet that was like poking fun at the whole thing of people being mad about the Last of Us remake or whatever, and then they brought up Star Fox, how like pretty much every Star Fox game ever has been a remake. Like they're like Star Fox 2, which is basically just Star Fox, but like with a little bit more stuff added to it, like the Chicken Walker and all that stuff. And then Star Fox 64, which is again just Star Fox, but like in 3D this time. And then it's like freaking Star Fox 0, which is Star Fox 64 again, but with motion controls and more story beats and stuff like that. So many people just want that, and they do that because people want that, like, or say that they want it, and then it comes out and then they hate it.
That's so exactly. Yeah. And that's what I was going to say with this comment for 88 leads, especially, is like, I can imagine, cause I know that there's people that say they want Star Fox to be the same as what it is, but imagining me being in 88 leads shoes, playing SNES Star Fox and 64 Star Fox, leaving Nintendo completely, and then coming back and be like, I wonder if there's been any Star Fox games. And if a new one came out, that was literally the same thing versus one that came out and it's like, wow, this is like kind of what I imagined was going on at the time, but better, or whatever. I just can't imagine leaning towards the one that's exactly the same, like I just
no
can't.
Other successful, like none of the other Nintendo games that like they keep up with, they do that with.
Right.
Mario is drastically different than Mario was when Mario started. Zelda drastically different than Zelda was when Zelda started.
Mechanically, at least, even if like ideally the like core concept of jump from place to place, do some things for Mario, but as far as execution
and
goes,
the way that makes sense, like you don't want to change the core concept of a successful thing, like that isn't the thing that they're doing wrong. The thing that they're doing wrong is that the gameplay concepts for Star Fox didn't age well, just like they had to change. Not that the Mario concepts didn't age well, but they had to change the Mario gameplay mechanics to make it feel modern. So that's what they did. And then they didn't go back to 2D Mario for years. And that, like, now they cycle between both of them. And Zelda, which is an even more direct comparison, they threw out a lot of the gameplay concepts for Zelda. Like Zelda is not, the gameplay experience of Zelda is not the same as the gameplay experience of Breath of the Wild. The theme, like the theming and the core, like, tenets of it are the same, but like mechanically it's a whole entirely different, unrecognizable borderline video game.
It's true. And that's hopefully Star Fox comes back. The end. That's the end of your comments from your video, and now it's time for ye old's Q&A. Are you prepared?
Yes. Yep, I am.
As am I. Let us begin. Okay, YouTube first. I pulled this one actually from my video, but it was a broader question, so I was like, I'll just put it in the Q&A section. Andrew Beisheim, I'll say Beisheim. I'm probably wrong. Andrew said, unrelated, but can you recommend any extremely low pressure games like Animal Crossing, but with a touch more story? My fiance's birthday is coming up. Congratulations. And I'll even sign the card from whoever has chosen the game. On the E3 note, I'd love to see a new IP that fits into a more core gamer niche, like an FPS, and can thrive like Splatoon.
The easy thing is Stardew Valley.
Yeah. If you don't know about Stardew Valley, that's definitely, I would say the same thing. Some other ones, I'm looking, I did a little ye old Google search. I mean, like,
because he wants the birthday card shout out, dude.
Oh, so much. No, I just want to be helpful. What was I going to say? Yeah, I think the question is, what is the thing that she likes about Animal Crossing? Because like,
Yeah.
Ashley, for example, my wife, plays lots of Animal Crossing, but then she also enjoys playing 2D Mario, doesn't love playing 3D Mario, enjoyed a little bit of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Yeah, right. And I mean, I think it is the like stress factor, and not to say that 2D Mario doesn't have some stress, but like it being obvious what you're meant to do, those kinds of things. Like she likes playing Mario Kart, but doesn't like.
I mean, throwing stuff into the third dimension can be off-putting for people that are not gamers.
But it is funny. I've definitely seen like she's a lot better at using. What was she playing recently? Oh yeah, but she's been enjoying playing New Super Lucky's Tale, which means maybe she'd enjoy going back to Mario Odyssey now. I think I was a little bit hands off.
Dude, she just likes foxes that can dig under the ground.
Foxes are cute. Some other ones though that are recommended, like on Games Radar, that I'm only going to say the ones that I agree. Story of Seasons, which is what used to be Harvest Moon, but Story of Seasons. There's a new one of those.
It even has story in the title, dude.
It does. Oh, it mentions this, and I fully agree, but it's very short. A Short Hike. I played it recently, and it's very good, but it's only like $7. So, you could just get it if you want. Stardew Valley. If you heard at all about Stardew Valley, it's pretty much within the like Harvest Moon vein. It's funny because there's not necessarily more. I mean, there is more story, but there's so much more conversation. Like there's storylines.
Exactly. There's storylines, and there's like there's like a few overarching stories where it's like the Joja Mart thing,
right? Yeah,
freaking the the community center is the same thing, but like your grandfather's farm and like upkeeping that and doing all that stuff. So there's like a story, and there's like an end goal. That you get to, and like helping the lady that's homeless and like all that stuff, right?
Yep.
So there's like story beats, but it's not like a campaign,
right? Exactly. But yeah, I mean that's something that's definitely, especially if she's somebody that's gotten sick of her villagers saying the exact same thing to her day in and day out. That's something that Stardew Valley is more, because there's not 200 different characters to code or whatever. It's more lovingly crafted for individual characters having story growth and character growth and like backstories and all that kind of stuff. There's probably only like 20 characters or 25 characters or something like that, but they're pretty deep. So yeah, there you go. Those are some games. We did it. The Superfan, actually here, I'll read this first. Said, how did I miss Pac-Man 99? I don't know, but now you can go play it. Ta-da, you did it. What a time. 7, I actually won a game of Mario 35, which I'll never do in Pac-Man 99. So I think the answer is clear.
Pac-Man. I got close in Mario 35.
I
got to second place. But again, I only played Mario 35 2 times. I played it the day it came out, and then I played it like a week or something after that. And the day it came out is the day I got like second place, and I was like,
I mean, it gets harder and harder, I feel like, after that, because people get better.
Yeah, because more people are playing.
That's true. Yeah. So that's tricksy. I got, what did I get in Pac-Man 99? I think I got like 12th or something. Oh, my dog's barking. Something's happening. I got like 12th or something today, which I was pretty happy about. But it does get crazy there right at the end. It's insane. And then like the time that I did the best, I died. I didn't even see the thing. Like so many things were going on that like, it wasn't like, oh no, I'm going to die. Oh, I died. It was like, yep, I'm just.
It's like, I died?
Yeah, like where? Things just happened and I didn't even notice. So yeah, that's what it is. Cool said, I haven't played either, but they both look great. Well, you won't be able to play one of them, unfortunately, now. I'm so sorry. Because Mario 35 is gone. But the real question is, do you guys agree that games are getting too long? Would you rather play one big game that'll last you weeks or months, or just one short game? I played Titanfall 2 and Resident Evil recently, and they made me realize that short games or short but insanely fun replayable games are more appealing to me than 60 plus hours open world games.
Yeah, I hate long games. Especially now. Like I freaking love like Pokemon length video games. Perfect. Perfect. If I could play through it over a weekend, sick. Like I don't need to be in one game world for that long. Like if I'm going to play a game for a long time, it's a Smash Brothers thing.
Right.
I need to feel like I'm like actively getting better at it, right? Like and like I'm sharpening a tool. I'm not like just playing the game and going through the motions of like the story says it's this long. Especially since usually games that are that long don't end well. Like they're not usually satisfying. It's like they all spend at least the last 5 hours being like, and I'm ending, and I'm ending, and I'm ending, and I'm ending. I ended.
Yeah, it's tough to answer this now because my answer easily would have been when not doing YouTube stuff, that I'd rather have just a couple games and savor them and like just be able to take my time with that. But now doing this, there is an element to which I feel more pressure, less so. Again, Game Pass really kind of helped break me of that because I'm like, there's so many games at my fingertips that I kind of don't feel like I have to play any of them. And I'm just going to play the ones that I want to play, which has been nice. But yeah, I think I like to have a long game to play, but with like I really enjoy having like lots of little short games. Like earlier in the year, I probably played like 5 or 6 indie games within the period of a month or so. And I was big on that. That was fun seeing the beginning and an end of something within like a couple days, yeah. So that's, I think for personal reasons, I still, have reasons to like the long games, but at the same time, I think shorter ones are better. I will say the Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild kind of decisions I think is also very worthwhile, where there's as much content as you want to complete ultimately.
Breath of the Wild is like the sweet spot for me in that regard. Like I don't really care about a game being long. Like that's never a bonus for me, but if I can get more of a game because I want more, that's a plus. And Breath of the Wild is that. It's like, all right, I put 10 hours and I'm done. I don't want to play this video game anymore. I can go and beat Ganon and I finished.
Right.
Or if I'm like, nah, I still want more, I could put 250 hours into like discovering the world and doing all that stuff. But like the games that feel like there's a defined end goal and it's going to take you 40 plus hours to get to it. I'm good on that.
Especially, I mean, like that's something with the way I'm playing Bravely Default 2 right now. Still, like it's a long game, but I'm kind of playing it just at my own pace anyway. Like I'm just going out and grinding and like having some battles or whatever. And then at some point I'll be like, all right, I'll go ahead and go to the next story beat. But in games like that, like towards the end of Xenoblade or when I decide I really would like to be done, that's the hard part. Whereas because like, I would like to be done and I'd like to beeline towards the end, but it's
see it through
like because I want to finish it, but at the same time it means like it's I'm going to be either under leveled through some of that because I'm not going to be grinding a little bit here and there. I just did a lot of that at the beginning that got me so far, but then like really should be spaced out throughout it. Or it just means I'm like doing cutscene after cutscene after cutscene after cutscene in those kinds of games. So that's the kind of thing where you really like, if you're invested equally the whole time through, it can be fun and worthwhile. But at whatever point you kind of get burnt out, it's like, maybe just stop playing entirely. Look up the rest,
Games with optional length are my bag. I want to be able to start and stop and feel like I had a complete experience in as many hours as many or as little hours as I want.
Yep. I think I would agree with that. Continuing on, Wolf King said, I haven't played Pac-Man 99. So I guess they said Mario 35. This was for context. This was where I put the Mario 35 versus Mario Pac-Man 99 poll. And last Eggman Master said, or XX, Eggman Master XX said, how are people saying Pac-Man 99 is better. Wow.
He likes Wario 35.
He does. Waluigi 37. That's your favorite.
I hate
I don't know.
Waluigi. I hate him because of the people.
I know. Yeah, it's what an unfortunate, I don't care that who's the Devil May Cry guy? Dante. I don't care that he's associated with that. Like that's fine. Like I don't care about one. I don't even really care about Waluigi. I look forward to a day where I could maybe care about Waluigi, but the memes make it
hard.
Yeah. But then again, that's died out a lot more these days. Has it not? Maybe not in the Smash sphere, but in the
it's more of a insular, like in the video game. Like if you see somebody with a Waluigi profile picture, they're a troll. Like confirmed, they're not going to be fun to play against.
I believe it.
But yeah, no, I don't. But yeah, people are like generally less toxic like when there's no news actively happening of like, oh, a character's coming, but that's still a thing. Whenever like we know a new reveal is happening, people still do their theories of like, I want this character, and then somebody swoops in from above and says, no, you're an idiot, it's obviously Dante.
Yeah, man, that's painful. Oh man. Questions from Twitter. Bianca Wicks says E3 cringe predictions.
I think there's going to be significantly less cringe because all the things are going to be edited.
Oh, that's very true. Oh man, there's been some cringe. What did I can't even remember which ones. I think I watched
always at the EA press conference. That's where most of the cringe is. And then second place is probably either like Xbox.
Bethesda a little bit, to be honest. There's been some rough Bethesda times. I remember one, oh man, it's the two that I remember most specifically from Bethesda was one where it was some guy who was like thought everybody was going to clap at every single thing he was going to say. He was like, and we really love games. Right?
No, you don't love games?
I was like, oh my goodness, dude, like, please.
Y'all don't have phones or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I was going to say Xbox or Ubisoft because because they do that. Like, I mean, a lot of the different press conferences, like the live press conferences, do the whole thing of like demoing a shooter and people taking it super seriously, which I had take issue with. But then I listen to people play Warzone for hours and they play the video game like that. So like I don't want like if I'm freaking streaming or when I'm streaming the press conferences with Bob Wolf, if I hear him mock them doing that, we're gonna have an issue because that is how Bob Wolf plays the video game. Like on your six, he's down, I cracked him. Team wipe. Like that is how they play the game.
That's so painful to me. Oh man, yeah. Nope. But it is, I mean, at the same time, it's like it's less to do with what the individual person doing it. It's more like if that's the communication style in the game. Like, Smash also has terminology. It happens to just not be. It happens to be very Smash specific terminology.
It has the terminology, but it's not the same thing.
Right.
Like it's more so speaking to be understood.
Yes,
when you're like, oh, in Smash Brothers, if you hit a wall and you bounced off the wall, it's easier for me to say, oh, you tech the wall, because that's a concise way to communicate that. But being like team wipe, it's like it just sounds like a sweat term for no reason.
Oh, that's so funny.
They're all dead. I killed them all.
Yeah. They are like Mario to me. That's the long form.
If like somebody uninitiated was like team wipe and I walked in, I'm like, what? But just like they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it.
That's really funny. Devil's Crybaby said, if you listened to DMX, what was your favorite DMX song? Hashtag.
Yo, X gonna give it to him.
Rips.
That's the one. X gonna give it to you. That's the most iconic song.
Did he die? Like
yeah,
legit rip? Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It was a trending topic for
Uh-huh.
DMX was a trending topic yesterday because he
Mm-hmm.
was in critical condition for I think the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
So then people were like, "Up, calling it,"
Mm.
and they were like, "Ah, no, that's not a thing." But this
Yeah.
morning they
Yeah.
confirmed it.
Man. Um,
Sucks.
I have not listened to barely any DMX,
By
but
default, X
my
gonna give it to him. That's his favorite.
no, by default, the one thing I actually, well, I wouldn't say I know the best by him, but has like been very funny. Somebody did Reading Rainbow cross DMX and like put DMX stuff over the Reading Rainbow theme song.
Mhm.
And it is the funniest thing. Like somebody showed it to me in college and like, it's just so great. The like wholesomeness of Reading Rainbow with DMX just being DMX on top of it is
My brother
very
freaking
entertaining.
loves DMX. I know he's hurt.
Oh
He's
yeah.
torn up about this for sure, for sure.
Honestly, like most of the artists that I listen to are, I don't know, like early 2000s, like yeah, it's like early 2000s screamo metal whatever, and up through recently. So like, not a lot of people over early 40s maybe in most of my Spotify artists. So I've got a good while to go, but then probably around the same it's gonna be rough for
I mean, he's not that
time.
old.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, he was 50. He died due to a drug overdose.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah. And there it is. Yep, it does. Discord. Yo. Duncan
Yo.
says so. Okay, last week we went super long, and so we held off on Discord questions. So we're bringing them back this week. So some of them are a little bit topically less relevant now.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Duncan says, Monster Hunter. Also, Happy Good Friday. That's what I was talking about. If that's a thing out there. Either way, enjoy the long weekend. If there is one where y'all are, there is not one where we
doesn't
are.
exist. Long weekends don't exist for me. They don't
Nope.
exist.
That's true. Also, Easter weekends is not. Yeah, we pretty much just have like President's Day kinds of things and like those kinds of holidays. So but thank you nevertheless. I mean, Good Friday. Yeah, it's Christy said, okay, hear me out. Chris the Butte from Twitter. Hello again. What do you guys think about a paper Pokemon series? Since Mario is dead, Pokemon could revive the Paper Mario series in new and interesting ways. Like maybe a new special Pokemon has turned this generation into paper, and you have to go and battle them to turn them back to normal again. I don't know. Just a random thought. What are your thoughts, or what thoughts, ideas do you have on this? Love the show. Keep being awesome. Sorry for any typos. I'm at work right now.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm just down for anything Pokemon, so I'm biased on this. I think that like the Paper Mario series, the way that I think about it anyway, is like it just inspires them to like care more about like lore and like dialogue and all that stuff. And like a Pokemon game that cares more about lore specifically would be wild. And I guess maybe that's what Legends Arceus is going to be, but
true. I mean, so the other thing I could see here is Pokemon cards, like not be the Pokemon trading card game, although maybe the gameplay is a little bit more like that or something like that. But like somebody's turning Pokemon into Pokemon cards, like that's it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Or just everything. Maybe it's not somebody's turning them into that. It's just like this is a world, and everything's Pokemon cards. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind because that is already paper. As far as paper, other series that aren't Pokemon.
Paper Pac-Man.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's like because there's no real rhyme or reason why paper was the thing for Mario other than it was originally a technical thing that they were like, we'll just do paper and then we've solved that problem. So just any of them, paper Zelda, paper.
Yeah, I think that like I would gravitate towards games that are similar to Mario, where it's like they don't care about story at all.
Yeah.
So like to put them in this format where
Donkey
it's
Kong,
like
yeah.
carried a lot by the story is a good like reason to be like, all right, this one, which I mean by that logic, Pikmin I think is a not a good example anymore, because Pikmin 3, I feel like Pikmin cares more about the story than a lot of Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's true. I need to finish Pikmin 3 backlog. But yeah, I could see that. Good question. Rocket Val said, what's your favorite type of fries and style of mashed potatoes? For me, I love sweet potato fries and garlic mashed potatoes.
Yo, I don't even know about the mashed potatoes thing. I'm not well versed in mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are just mashed potatoes to me.
I do like more like some chunks in mashed potato. Oh, actually, no, I lied. Mashed potatoes, I'll answer that real quick. I made mashed potatoes. No. It was, I guess it was like a potato salad. Okay, I take that back. I made a potato salad once.
Which is kind of like in some forms,
it's close,
it's cold mashed potatoes.
Well, I guess it was kind of cool. It wasn't like super. In any case, I did it kind of wrong, but it turned out really good, such that some of the other people, they were like, "Hey, can you give me that recipe?" And I was like, I didn't. I literally looked at a picture of potato salad and I kind of guessed at the rest of the stuff. So I think this is about what I did. I'm probably not going to be able to do it again. It just happened by luck. Yeah, the trick was, I think, like, some bacon, some onions and stuff, but also like more of a brown mustard base, like spicy mustard, instead of like mayo or yellow mustard or whatever, because that's not worth it. But
I hate freaking mashed potatoes with yellow mustard. I hate it. Mostly because I hate yellow mustard.
I'm fine with yellow mustard, but like on pretty specific hot dogs, like pretty simple hot dogs, simple hamburgers,
like yellow mustard on
corn dogs.
I like the brown mustard for me is that where it's like I can like brown mustard is okay on some things, but generally I'm not down with brown mustard. Like honey
mustard could go on a ton of things for me. Like I'm not down with mustard generally, but I'm okay with brown mustard, and depending on the context, and freaking Dijon mustard, which is like not that different from brown mustard, right? Yeah, no, I'm a big Dijon mustard fan. So there you go. As far as favorite type of fries,
waffle fries. Waffle fries are the superior fry.
Waffle fries are real good.
Fried.
As someone who lived in Belgium, I think I have to say like frites, and that also might be my true answer, but it's just like they're normal fries but better ish. So
what does that mean? How so?
So they double fry them, which means like they pre-fry them, they have them sitting out like not frozen or whatever, and then they're closer a little bit to steak fries, but they're not like kind of thick and fat. They're just like, I don't even know how to explain better, but something about, I think it's,
you just sound like fries, dude.
It is. I mean, that's the thing is, it's like, you can't necessarily say like, it's a whole different specific kind of fry. It's just like a better done version of fries. So I'm not going to say that as the answer, but if I could, I guess I would say that. Otherwise, like, I don't know. I like crinkle fries and like seasoned fries, that kind of thing. If it's not sauce dependent, if it's just the fry and I'm not putting sauce on it, especially, then I think like something within the curly fry, crinkle fry world.
Waffle fries are the best fry. Curly fries are a second place fry. I would say it's decently distant, but like curly fries, if there's no waffle fries, I'll take curly fries.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I feel you. Mega Man said, do you have any Easter traditions other than the standard? I don't personally, but I know people do.
No. When I was a child, for whatever reason, my dad, and stepmom, and my dad's side of my family, we got gifts on Easter, dude. I was telling Lee about this. I got a freaking Super Monkey Ball on Easter.
Nice.
And he was like, oh, you're over here getting Easter gifts. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just telling you my lived experience.
Yeah.
I can't freaking crap on me because my parent gave me a Super Monkey Ball on Easter. It's not my fault.
That was a big difference when Ashley and I started dating. Like, her parents do Easter baskets that have gifts, and it's like, like some candy maybe for her, like, I don't know, some lotion or something like that, and like an iTunes gift card, which now is some other kind of small gift card, and maybe a movie.
It was pretty much the same thing for me. It was like I would get a video game, a gift card to like iTunes or something like that, and then candy.
Yeah. And so my family never did that. I don't know, honestly, that my family, I just in general don't have a ton of set traditions because I've so many like Christmases and Halloweens and whatever, like all these different, I was just in different locations or with different family members or something. So it just, traditions themselves, as you'd think of them, didn't really happen. So it's more like, specifically for Easter, it's, church related traditions of just go to church and participate in Easter, as it were. But yeah, as far as like practical things, not a whole lot. This year we were going to go to Ashley's parents for Easter, and then we were just like, we are not going to, because we're exhausted. It's been so busy recently. So we didn't. So we told them ahead of time, like, hey, we need a day to rest because it's just been crazy. And they're like, you good? So I hope that answers the question, Mega Man. All right. Those were from last week. From this week, Technoduck says, thoughts on the Falcon and Soldier. Thoughts on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We are 3 episodes in with 3 episodes left. I haven't watched today's yet, by the way.
Me either.
Okay. Let's hold this. We'll chat about it quickly at the end. In case we have any spoily things. Duncan, what is objectively the best type of sundae?
I don't know. I don't think about
Sundays are not high tier for me.
Yeah, Sunday, and also like a Sunday is like more of like an abstract concept than like a set thing to me. It's like it's just ice cream with a bunch of crap.
Yeah, right. Whereas like a Blizzard or McFlurry, like something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like a McFlurry is a thing.
Okay,
here Sunday is like it's ice cream with these things in it, right?
I'm gonna rank the places that have Sunday kinds of things. In my mind, that I can think of off the top of my head. There's a place called Andy's Ice Cream that I don't know if it's kind of local or not at all, but Andy's Ice Cream, they have that kind of thing, and they're probably number 1. Number 2, Culver's custard, frozen custard kinds of things. Pretty much it's just ice cream, but a little bit better somehow. And like raspberry and Oreo is the combo.
Freaking Rita's custard is lit, dude.
Yep. Then Dairy Queen, then Sonic, and then McFlurry's at McDonald's. That's the order that I can think of.
And Friendly's got good ice cream too.
Oh, I've never had Friendly's.
Yo, you got Friendly's, their ice cream's pretty
Next
good.
time I'm in Pennsylvania. Actually, you know what? I'll probably...
Is there only Friendly's in Pennsylvania?
I don't know. I don't think we have them here, but I think we do have them in Virginia, which I'll be there. Oh, I'm not going to be on the podcast next week. I just realized.
Oh, shoot.
I've got to go to Virginia for the reason I was off several weeks ago. My grandfather's memorial service is next week. So we'll be driving down there. But I don't know. It's from Massachusetts. So I guess it's kind of working its way down. But yeah, we don't have them in Tennessee. So there you go. Grimane said, what specifically is the best topping for ice cream?
Oreos.
I wouldn't say Oreos is the best. Like, it's the most versatile for sure. I don't know. Yeah. I'm happy with Oreos. I would say something more like Butterfinger or Reese's, or Oreos plus raspberry combination is my favorite for sure, but just raspberry isn't. So I
Parker just being difficult. It's Oreos.
I am difficult. It's true. Dirt Marcos, how does one make the best type of ice cream from scratch? Literally no clue.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
My dad is a dad. Once you're a dad, that's what you'll learn how to make.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. I've had it. I've only been around homemade ice cream one time in my life. It was Ashley's grandparents made some or something, and it was good. I think. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. My dad put some stuff in the thing, and it sat there.
Something about salt.
Yep, exactly. He put it in like a blender, the ice cream machine thing, and then yeah, man, the ice cream came out. It was wild. It's crazy, dude.
There you go. That's all those questions. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Maybe I don't know if we talk about how much do you want to talk. Do you have to go anywhere?
No, I'm not going.
Okay.
I don't have to leave until freaking 8 p.m. So I
got
time.
Boy, you got time.
Time.
Well, let's chat about Falcon and Winter Soldier real quick. Thank you, everybody who's not going to stick around for sticking around up till now. You've been great. And here's some of our thoughts on the show.
Like,
as it is
comment,
before.
Subscribe, all of that.
And tell all your friends to subscribe so that we can, rank pairs and stuff.
Exactly. If you want us to rank pairs, dude, it's going to be dope.
Be lit.
How do you live the rest of your life without our pair ranking, dude?
It's impossible.
All right, Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah. Do you have any specific thoughts?
So we're gonna be watching the next episode to later tonight when Ashley gets home. I think in general, like, who was I talking to about this? Was I talking with Alec? I think so. I just remember that I was talking about it. Marvel. He does. It's true. No, wasn't. But now I'm going to be mad. I shouldn't even say who I think I was talking to about stuff, because I know we talked about other stuff with Alec. But it was Scootish. I was talking with Scootish about this. Okay, so the Loki trailer came out. Super excited about that. I tweeted it, and Scootish was like, "Yo, dope." I think the thing in general is, like, I'm enjoying Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it's very just like we kind of thought at the beginning. It feels more. It's just like, it's kind of standard, down to earth, like, superhero-y guys.
No like things. Revelatory moments or anything. Like, I mean, there was something cool that happened at the end of last episode.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, dope.
Like, I had to watch a YouTube video of, like, the Easter eggs and things you missed from this episode, which when watching those for WandaVision, it was like those were helping explain the questions I had, blah, 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 blah. Whereas for this, it was like pointing out, I bet you didn't notice that this thing is a reference to that. Isn't that neat? And I was like, oh, fun. But, like, that's not like making me feel so invested.
Yeah, like you didn't like learn anything that, again, there's no real like revelatory moments. It's not like, oh my God, I was never expecting this to happen here on this a TV show. It's like, it's a Marvel TV show, which I mean is cool.
I'm down.
But it's just very much so what I expected it to be, which I mean is part of the reason why I didn't watch it yet. Because like, WandaVision, I was like, nah, man, I'm staying up. F that. Like, it's 1 a.m. Dope. I'm staying up until 3 and I'm watching it so that
which Loki 100% that's going to be the case too. Like,
yes, exactly. Which again, like, I don't really care about Loki, but like the show. Looks interesting. Or I didn't care about Loki like as a character. I was like, oh, it's Loki, but like looking at the premise of the show, it's like, oh no, this would be sick, and it would probably like matter.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, we in the Deal household, Ashley especially, Loki is her favorite Marvel character, period. So like, already we were going into with high hopes, and like, it's even better. I think the thing that I've realized though too that's interesting is, especially, I think after Killmonger and Thanos, Marvel has doubled down on villains that are not relatable.
Agreeable?
Well, yeah, just like where I mean, I guess where you can get behind them and it's like, oh, I can see where you're coming from. Like, I wouldn't do it this way.
Yeah, I mean, if you, I don't understand the people that agree with Thanos. Like, you're like...
Well, it's more like agreeing,
or something. But like Killmonger, I can understand that. I mean, like I get his like very directly. I get his inspiration. Don't agree with the way he went about doing it.
Right.
Thanos, on the other hand, I don't understand either. Where he's like, you know what? The world sucks. It's overpopulated. Kill half of everyone. I'm like, oh,
right, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's more the like, I want the universe to. I mean, there's a lot of them that have this kind of thing, but like the way I think he says it more as a character.
You're drinking
No. I'm
saying
he's saying it as a character, less as a caricature.
Okay, yeah. He's not like, I'm gonna rule the world.
Yeah, or like even Ultron. It's like it's the same kind of thing where Ultron's like, you should. I still love that Ultron is the voice actor that he is, who in Robert California from The Office. That's what I was trying to say. Man, it's so funny. But like it's like, I have to destroy everything so everybody can, because it's just that like bad anime logic kind of thing.
It's the freaking like robot like the singularity whole like that type of stuff. It's like robots are going to get smarter than us, and they're going to know that we kicked that one Boston Dynamics robot and come for us all.
Which like maybe back in when that first was an idea, that was a big deal and that was revelatory. But now it's
but now that they've done it over and over and over again, it's like it's a trope at this point.
Yeah. So that said, I feel like they with WandaVision, they set that up with Wanda, where she, again, we talked about it before, like they ended her as not a villain, but like somebody who, like, she's kind of in a gray area now where if she became a villain, there would legitimately be people that it's like, no, I mean, I'm with Wanda, like, and similarly, I think the Flag Smashers are the same kind of thing where there's like, and not to the same degree, but you understand what they're trying to do, and they're trying to be the rebels from Star Wars, but instead they're the rebels from Star Wars who are actually just straight up murdering people, in a way that's it's not just for self-defense. It's for like, ooh, no, you guys are taking it to the limit.
Yep.
So I'm excited for when Captain America, this one, is bad and everybody hates him.
Which is like, I mean, he kind of like, it's very weird because he had like very obvious moments of like, this guy.
Yeah, right.
This your king.
Ooh, yeah. So, I mean, that's like, that's canonical and stuff. Like he's supposed to be that guy who's just power hungry and whatever. But like, it's, and again, it's not that I like Cap, like, especially rewatching Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like I enjoyed Cap more rewatching it than I thought I even did before. But like, obviously this is a Cap that we're not supposed to like, and I'm ready for us to not like him. That is awesome.
But the show that has been balancing this and making Friday exciting again is Invincible. But you got I want to watch it, and I need to find time to do it. Ashley is hesitant on watching it, and I want us to watch it together. But the thing is, like,
have you watched The Boys? Does it feel like?
No, I haven't seen that. Okay. I haven't watched that. So the thing about Invincible, I knew nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that is the best thing for this show specifically. If like, I didn't even know, like, have you seen any of like
I watched the trailer, which I think gave some of, I think gave, probably the like minute 25 of episode 1 reveal. I think it gave that away probably, but that's about all I know of. So
a lot of the marketing is like that. It's like this hyper violent show.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen any of that?
Yes.
That I didn't know. I didn't know that. So like, I was like, why? I was like watching it, and I was getting forward. But I like watched Kind of Funny, like Greg Miller. He was like talking about it. It's like, do not, like, don't give up on it. Like, keep watching. Yeah. And that's like the thing. I was like, I really don't care about this anymore. It just seems like bootleg Superman.
Yeah,
and then,
right.
Like the other shoe came down. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, yo, what? So now I'm invested. Now it's the WandaVision effect of like, I did not.
How far into it was that? Like within episode 1 or like?
It's like a half an hour into episode 1. It's
okay,
like,
yeah. So about where I was thinking.
Episode 1. It's like, yo, what? Yeah. Like what?
Yeah, man. I'll see if we can watch that tonight, maybe. Because yeah, because I'm interested for we had started watching The Boys a while ago and stopped and then tried rewatching it, and it's just like it's that same kind of thing where it's like there's a lot of different directions of like it's very gory or whatever, but there's also just like characters that are just deeply deranged and like in a very literal sense perverted, like just mentally and stuff, where like that's something that like I can kind of just look past it and not look past it and like I forgive you, but like just see it as a character being written, whereas like for Ashley it feels more like she gets grossed out, like just gist wise by it. And so that definitely makes it harder for her to watch, where it's like, man, I can't even look at that character because he's so like, just, he's
such a garbage.
So gross. Yeah, exactly. And like that kind of stuff. So that's, so I don't know if we'll end up keep watching that, but
I had no, again, I mean, it's similar with The Boys. Like, I don't know anything about that. And there's nothing, there's no like evangelist for The Boys for me that's like, oh yeah, I'll check this out. But Greg Miller talking about, it's like, like Greg Miller seems to like this, so I'll watch this. Yeah. And then I watched it and then I almost turned it off, but then I remember he said, don't turn it off. So I was like, okay, I'll keep watching to see for what the twist is. And I was like, what? I'm like, what?
I mean, that's like for sure with some games for me too, where like Hollow Knight, the only reason, because I definitely remember getting to the point where I was like, I'm not really sure what's going on at about the 2 or 3 hour mark that a lot of people fall off at, and pushing just barely past that, then everything was great. Whereas with the Outer Wilds, I had to get evangelized to about it on Twitter this week by being like, I don't know, guys, like, is it worth it? And then enough people like were like, yeah, man, just make it past it and it'll be worth it. I was like, all right. So at some point I'll do that. But yeah.
Well, I have to say, freaking watch Invincible. I have Amazon Prime link to your Twitch account.
Hey,
give us a free Twitch sub and also watch Invincible.
There you go. Double duty. All right, y'all. Good job.
I did it.
You did it.
We finished. The show's done.
We had like 3 news things today. I was like, there's no way this is going to take even 2 hours this time. And here we are.
But no.
Almost there yet again. So
yeah, almost though. I mean, actually though, it was not a short show. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Goodbye, everybody.